For some reason, it's not playing from the beginning. Hello, everyone. We're live. It's not playing from the beginning for some reason. That's weird.
Technical difficulties.
Well, I guess that means it's time for a promo code in the merch store. Promo code TechProbs for 25% off everything in the merch store. That is the rule for SparkE3. All right, let's try this again. Let's see if it will play from the beginning like it should. Nope, just randomly playing from the middle of our song. So we're just going to hit the music and just immediately switch to us, and we'll do the yell. You ready? All right, let's go. Welcome to a terrible football show.
Man, that was just terrible.
That was terrible. I didn't know what it was.
Normally there's a build-up for the music.
There was.
I don't know. You know, I wonder if I've got like the wrong track on here, like the shorter version or something. That's a possibility because there's like 5 different versions of the single track. So I wonder if I accidentally put on the wrong one.
Did you see what I tagged you in? It was a little while ago, but it was an Arkansas. It was some kind of like Arkansas training facility.
No.
Had was using. Well, I don't know if they're using. Technically, I guess it's not our music because it's sampled music, but they had our theme song playing for their commercial.
This one that's
you
playing?
Should get money for that, man.
No, look, man, it's all coming from Inaudio, so
We're
they're the ones.
live, man. We got the music now, man.
That is true. That is true. Well, welcome into a terrible football show. Rough start, but hey, what this means though is that we will now have a promo code in SparkE3Shop.com. Promo code TechProbs with a Z is back once again for 25% off. That's my rule. Anytime there's a tech problem, promo code's going in there. And with the other rule on top of that, if while that promo code is active, if another tech problem happens somewhere else, I'm bumping up the percentage off. That's what that's the rules. That's it. I mean, that's what we do. We literally have a shirt saying, sorry for tech prob sub please. That's our thing. Trademark SparkE3 Tech Prob. Shout out to Shane. Shout out to Ricky. Boys, how we doing? How we feeling? Shane, not Shane. Ricky, first time in the studio. How you doing, man?
Man, I'm doing great. This studio looks great. This is a good setting right here. I could get used to this.
Hey,
I get to sit here instead across from Ricky's pretty face.
Oh, you are too kind. You are too kind.
Well,
goodness, Shane, it's been a long time since I've actually seen you in person.
I don't know what it's been with the draft from last year.
Goodness gracious! I've seen you since then. Fayetteville.
Yep.
We were up in Fayetteville. That's right. We were up in Fayetteville. That's the last time I remember seeing you.
Yep. That was
September, October.
Almost a year ago. Yeah.
Goodness gracious! It's just
been a while.
It doesn't seem it's been like that long though. That's
right.
just the thing.
It had to be before September. It had to be the end of August because I moved back here from Fayetteville.
That's right, because the weekend we went up there was your final weekend up there, and then you moved back. I remember that now.
Yep.
I remember that now.
That's been a while. It's been a while. It's good to have you two reunited. Then I'm glad that we could reunite in this capacity for you two.
We've known each other for a while, so I mean, it's definitely good.
Right.
Definitely good.
You know what else is good is that with this episode we're officially back to weekly. Terrible Football Show is back every single week, every Tuesday around 5 p.m.-ish, Central Standard Time, so shout out to that. Boys, the season starts here for us. I mean, we had the episode a couple weeks ago, cool. We had the episode in June, cool. But no, this is it. The season starts now. I mean, look, it's going to be very bad football, but we got football this week. I mean, we got the Hall of Fame game happen on Thursday. It's going to be shit. But the point is, the season starts now. The vibe is here. You know what I mean? We got a lot of stuff to chat about for today's episode. Because for today's episode, one of the big things that we're going to be chatting about is we got a big segment here where we're going over all of our college football conference winners and predictions. We'll also shout out our top 2 favorite teams, which is everything here on the screen, mine being like Miami and Hawaii, Arkansas State, Arkansas, and Oregon. So I'm going to be shouting those out as well as whoever's winning the conference. The next couple of weeks, we'll be doing NFL predictions. I think next week, it don't really matter which conference we do first. If we want to do AFC first and NFC first, it don't really matter. But that'll be the next 2 weeks. We've got some other things to chat about here today, of course. If you're watching this live, we appreciate the hell out of you. Cannot thank you enough for joining live. If you're watching the replay of this later, cannot appreciate our thanks enough. And if you're listening to this on one of the multiple audio platforms that we're on, we appreciate the hell of you as well. But we do question why you are not over at youtube.com/SparkE3 watching live or just watching the replay. But hey, if you just prefer audio format, just make sure to follow, rate the podcast. It definitely helps us grow. Let's go. Make sure to join the Discord because with live shows, we will be taking like guest callers. We'll pull you up, chat with you for a few minutes about whatever's on your mind. Whether your team sucked it up, whether your team was awesome, another topic going on in the league, whatever is on your mind, we'll chat with you about. So make sure to join the Discord, link down in the description below. Follow us on Twitter as well. Terrible FB Show. And I guess lastly, it's on the screen as well. Go check out some Rogue Energy. Referral link down below. Promo code SparkE3 for 10% off, or promo code RazorE3 for 10% off. Shout out. I'm actually drinking some right here behind me. Dragon Fruit Mango Hydration. It is delicious.
I'm sorry, I can't drink the competition, sir.
I know. But we will. It's okay. We'll
That's
drink
okay.
it. We'll drink it for you.
That's okay.
We'll drink it for you.
That is okay.
As long as I'm getting paid for it, I'll drink it.
Yeah.
There you go. Goodness gracious, you got a point there.
Yeah.
See, I get paid to drink. Well, I mean, I like it anyway. I never really drank this stuff before I worked for Pepsi, though, so it's just one of those deals.
Right.
But Pepsi did come out with some huge news yesterday morning. Yes, it is going to be fantastic.
But the world can't know yet, right?
The world cannot know yet.
Okay, not yet.
So
Maybe you're soon. Maybe you're soon.
I have to find out to see if the world can know yet or not. I don't think it's world known yet.
Because I think it would be dope to break that news on a terrible football show.
It would be dope. But I also don't want to get fired.
Hey, what's up, Iggy? What's up, Tyler? How you boys doing? Hopefully both of you are having an absolutely phenomenal day today.
Tyler, I miss you. Is it Tyler?
Tyler.
Tyler, I miss you, man.
Tyler.
I miss you so much, man. You can come sit here in this rocking chair.
Next to what's his
Josh. Yeah, the Josh
next
pillow.
to Josh. Yeah.
Hold on.
That's awesome.
Let me swap screens here and let me turn on a camera. There you go. You can kind of see Josh's face on the screen now.
So Josh, welcome to a terrible football show.
Welcome.
How you feeling?
Hey, Josh makes a cameo in every fucking podcast, and he hates it. He hates the fact that we have that pillow.
It's like Stan Lee making a cameo in every Marvel movie before he died.
No, so one hilarious thing about the pillow, right, is like, it's just like a small little, like, couch pillow, Zach, who bought that, he actually originally bought like a full-blown body pillow, like legit, just to fuck with him, right? But when he bought it, it shipped and everything, and then the package got lost in shipping. So we brought this up on a podcast one day where I was at the end of the show. I'm like, Zach, what's going on with the body pillow? Like, what's the status on that? It's been like a month. He's like, oh yeah, it got lost in shipping, so they refunded me the order, and I was like, oh man, that sucks. What's the order again? And I was about to wrap up the show, and Josh was like, wait, hold on. So you're telling me somewhere in the world right now there is a body pillow with my face on it, and I didn't even think about that. I just lost my shit, and I'm just like, yeah, there's a body pillow of you somewhere out there in the wild.
I was thinking about that. It's just a lonely body pillow of Josh just sitting in a warehouse.
That's what I should do. I should get one of those for my body pillow. I should put my body on the pillow and give it to my wife.
Yeah,
that'd be a great anniversary present.
There you go.
Hey, she never said anything about body pillows. I know you don't get appliances for your wife for your anniversary. So it's
right.
My second year anniversary is coming up. So
yeah,
just so you never miss me.
Yeah, exactly. Just so you never miss me. Here's a pillow for you. All right, let's dive into some stuff. We'll start off with some NFL chat because we got a few different things to chat about. Let's start things on a lighter note before we get into the bigger stuff because we got some big stuff to unpack here. All right, but let's start on a lighter note. Hey, training camps are going on. Shout out to that. Some good things coming out, some bad things coming out. Unfortunately, I did, I'm sure as everyone saw, there was the unfortunate loss there for Tampa Bay with their center, Ryan Jensen, non-contact injury. Looks like he's going to be out for the year there. From your squad, wide receiver Tim Patrick, same thing. Did you see that? The news just broke on that earlier. Non-contact injury, torn ACL, missing the season. That sucks, man.
We just signed him too.
Yeah, I feel like Tim Patrick would have been like a dark horse for the Broncos, like legit. I really do. Some news out of my camp. There's a lot of rumors going on with Tevin Jenkins being on the trade block because he's like at odds with this new regime, and in my opinion, get rid of him. I'm so beyond done with Tevin Jenkins. It sucks that he came in last year and had a back injury. Sucks, T's and P's, obviously, but then a little bit that he played okay. For a second-round draft pick who was projected first at one point. He's getting outplayed by Larry Borum, who was like a 6th or 7th round draft pick for us last year. At this point, I'm done with him. Get rid of Tev. Matt Stafford looking on fire. Did you guys see the nice little clip put out him to Cup? That was pretty clean.
Yeah, well, he should be on fire. I mean, you're talking about a guy. If there was any quarterback in the current league right now who deserved a good platform, it was Matt Stafford.
Oh, 100%.
Playing for what many would consider the Vanderbilt of the NFL, the Detroit Lions, for as long as he did. He did everything he possibly could do. And,
have a good one, Tyler.
And especially with the lack of management they have. And for him to be able to get on the platform that he is on with the Rams now, it's terrific. I am so stoked for Matt Stafford.
I am too. I love Matt Stafford, man. He's like, bro, the shit that he did in Detroit, it's like when you're on a team that bad, like you said, the Vanderbilt, the NFL, whatever, and you're on that team for as long as you are, and your team is still as bad, there comes a point where it's like it's clear that you're not the problem. You know what I mean? Especially when the man's passing. He passed for over 5,000 yards one season, and he's consistently a 4,000-yard passer in Detroit. It's just like he wasn't the problem. You know, the problem was everything else around him. You know, I know everyone's like, oh, he had a Hall of Famer, Calvin Johnson. Yeah, what else did he have, though? I mean, like, come on, man.
A Hall of Shame.
I mean, he only had him for, what, 7 years?
Yeah, exactly, exactly.
And, of course, I also root for Cooper Kupp. I don't know if y'all know this, but his wife was a former Arkansas Razorback.
Yep.
And so you got to root for that, especially their story. I don't know if y'all know their story or not, but
I do.
Yeah,
it's a great one.
So anyway,
she left Arkansas.
To
Eastern Michigan.
Yeah,
Eastern Washington.
Washington.
Yeah. With the red field. The red field. Yeah.
They got married, and she worked while he would play college football.
Yep.
Like that was because she knew his passion was to go to the NFL, and she knew he was going to be good enough. And she's like, "Look, I'm going to work. You take this." Work your butt off. Let's focus on this, and it's going to pay off one day. And so, and it ended up paying off in the end because Cooper Kupp. I mean, he's one of the best in the league by far. One of the best.
Neither of them, or she will never have to work again in a day in her life.
No,
right, no. How do you feel about the memes coming out of your number one NFL team, the Let's Ride? Everyone's doing. Have you guys seen all the videos of college teams doing Let's Ride?
No,
Let's Ride.
I haven't seen it yet.
Oh my god! Like, dude,
awesome.
there are so many like college teams that are now doing videos of, you know, like I saw like a Michigan State one where it's like an O-line. He's like, Spartan country, let's ride. You know, everyone's making memes about. I saw like a mic'd up video earlier of Keenan Allen at LA training camp where he was just practicing. He's like Bolt Nation. Let's ride. You know, just make it. How do you feel about the memes, man? Russell Wilson's just become a life of his own.
Russell Wilson, he is at this point just a rolling meme.
He is, and he's here for it too.
So,
he's here for the Let's Rides.
Yeah, he's all about it. Like he's on Twitter all the time.
Yes,
fucking just making fun of himself. So
yeah. Can we do like a group Let's Ride? You know, terrible football show.
Terrible football show. Let's ride.
Yeah. Yeah, there we go.
There you go. That was good. I didn't know we were gonna. I thought we were gonna count on three or something.
No,
one, two, three. Give me a warning.
We'll do it again. All right, ready? 1, 2, 3.
A terrible football show. Let's ride.
There you go. Top tier. Top tier. Wyoming needs to do the Let's Ride meme. Yo, hit him up. Hit him up. Also, shout out to Yugi. Talk to you next time, man. He's got to go back to work, he said.
My boss just got back from Wyoming. Oh, my gosh.
Shout out to the Wyoming Cowboys, the Dookie Brown.
Wyoming, I'm dead serious. So y'all know y'all know Wyoming is the least populated state in the United States.
Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm.
So they make their money off of tourism. That's what they make their money off of. Like, it is expensive as crap to go to Wyoming, at least the park that my boss went to. He just got back last week. And so I just thought I'd point
what
that
makes
out.
You wake up in the day and be like,
I want to go to Wyoming?
When my Dallas Cowboys lose.
Oh, well, you're going to get that feeling a lot this year.
Hey, you shut your mouth.
Looks like
those are fighting words.
Looks like you're going to be spending a lot of time in Wyoming.
You didn't ask me about my team and my team injuries.
Yeah, well, how are you feeling? I mean, what do you have? What's even going on in Dallas? Besides, Mike McCarthy being on the hot seat, in my opinion.
James Washington's out for a while, but that's about it. There ain't nothing going on. It's Jerry Jones. He's the happiest man in the world, and
he's living.
He's living.
Vibing. Yeah.
I love Jerry Jones. I don't care what anybody says. I love that dude.
I do too.
Absolutely.
Oh, one thing that I was kind of curious of you guys' thoughts on, because it's just like first time GM. Hasn't really spoke a whole lot in press conferences and stuff, and the one time he speaks in a press conference, he, like, in my opinion, puts his foot in his mouth in the worst way possible. Did you see the Vikings GM talk about Kirk Cousins?
No, but I did hear I saw a thing on Twitter saying like he wasn't happy with him or something like that.
Okay, yeah, that's essentially what it was. Like, again, first new rookie GM, right? First time he's ever had a GM job and everything. And he's just like, yeah, Kirk's good, but, he openly flat out said, it's just like, but he's not Tom Brady. He's not Patrick Mahomes, which not inaccurate. I mean, he's not speaking.
But you can't do that to your starting quarterback.
You can't
yes,
do
you
that.
Can.
I know. Come on.
Yes, you can.
Especially when Kirk's not that bad. Vikings fans need to chill. Kirk's not that bad.
That's like me going to San Diego. Justin Herbert. He's definitely not Patrick Mahomes, but he's Justin Herbert. He's a pretty good quarterback. And Kirk Cousins isn't completely horrible.
No.
I mean, he's not completely terrible. I mean, still, I have no problem with that. I mean, at least the dude's honest.
I mean, he's honest, but man, did he catch some back? The thing is, not only was he like throwing out his opinion like that, once he got all the backlash from it, he he came back on his opinion. So it's one of those things, like if you're going to deliver a take like that, you need to stand by your take. But then he was pulling it back where you
that,
just
or
like,
at least explain it like, hey, like what Ricky just did. Like, hey, I'm not saying that he's not good. He's who he is.
Yeah,
That
Right.
kind of thing.
yeah.
I mean that's where I come. That's where I saw
Yeah.
it. But I mean, still, it's like it's not. We know he's not Tom Brady. We know he's not Patrick Mahomes. We knew that when he came out of college.
Yep.
But I mean, there's plenty of quarterbacks that I would not take over. I would take Kirk Cousins over.
Oh yeah, me
Plenty.
too. Yeah.
Plenty.
He's I would put him in the middle of the pack on quarterbacks.
Middle of the pack at worst.
At worst, and then maybe a little bit lower than the middle of the pack. I wouldn't put him any lower than that though.
Yeah, I wouldn't put him below middle of the pack.
I had him on fantasy one year. That's the biggest mistake I ever
You
made in
know,
my life.
it's funny that you mentioned that because at one point, like in a previous year of fantasy, Tyler had Kirk and he was trying to trade him off to another friend of ours as well as some other stuff, whatever. And the way that he explained Kirk to my friend was like the most accurate way possible. He's like, Kirk Cousins, he's either going to get you 30 points or 5 points.
That's very
true.
true.
That's so accurate for
That's
Kirk
very,
Cousins
very
in
true.
fantasy. So also shout out to our fantasy league. We should be drafting here later this month, and we'll go over our fantasy drafts. The champion from last year's coming back, Nate. You know, he went on a roll last year in our league. I think he started like probably 10-0, 11-0. Dude went on a roll. He had an unbelievable team. So looking forward to the fantasy draft here later this month. We got to get an actual date hammered out for that. But any other training camp stuff you guys can think of that you guys have seen? If not, we can hop over to the big one.
I will say two.
Okay.
I saw Cooper Kupp's training video, or a little snippet from training camp of him doing his footwork. Dude's insane. And then also, how about Treylon Burks for being an out or overweight, out of shape receiver?
Well, I heard he was also having some asthma trouble.
See, that's the only thing I've seen out of Treylon is I saw the asthma trouble videos. What has come out after that? Because I haven't seen anything else after that.
There is one reporter, and I don't know if he's actually out of Tennessee or if he's like one of those who just hates the Titans. But there was one reporter who reported that he was out of shape. From my understanding, he's looking good, and I expect him to have a pretty decent rookie year, especially coming back. Like I said, it's a totally different era now. I mean, he's in a totally different situation.
Yeah.
I expect him to have a good rookie year. I really do.
I don't know how good the Titans defense and corners are compared to the rest of the league right now, but he was bully balling Titans first cornerback, like first 10 corners, bullying them.
And that's he's gonna be the Treylon Burks I think we all know and love for the Tennessee Titans. That they need a playmaker like him on their team. I understand they had A.J. Brown at one point. Didn't they have Julio Jones last year?
Mm-hmm.
I understand that too.
Julio signed with Tampa.
But here's the thing. Treylon Burks is so good. And it's like I was having this conversation with a coworker of mine earlier this morning. Treylon was so good at Arkansas. It wasn't that Arkansas didn't have more receivers than him. It's just that no one could guard him. He was that good. I don't know if he's going to be able to adapt like that in the NFL in his first year.
I don't think he will the first year. I think you'll see flashes of it first year.
Right.
I mean, it's a learning curve for a lot of guys, especially a guy of his build. It's a learning curve. But give it like second year, something to watch.
He's definitely gonna be a top end receiver.
Yeah.
Oh, by far, yeah.
You think he'll break 1,000 this year?
I would say but not by much.
I could see it just for the simple fact is I don't think Tennessee is that big of a threat at wideout.
No.
I think he's going to be targeted more than any receiver they have this year, and that's saying a lot for a rookie. He's going to be targeted quite a bit.
Even more than Robert Woods?
They do have Robert Woods, but
I would say
he's got the injury issues.
That's something else.
Yeah.
He does have the injury issues. I'll go ahead and say yes. I think, and this is just my opinion. I think he's going to win rookie of the year.
Okay.
I think he has that much potential.
I think he definitely is in the running.
I was looking at
Drake London looked pretty good too.
Yeah, I was looking at some futures bets earlier. I've actually got some that I want to shout out in today's episode before we're done. And I'll shout out some more futures bets over the next few weeks, like for records, over and unders. I've been looking for some that I like. I'm pulling it up now because I think it was for individual award. Offensive Rookie of the Year, Treylon Burks is currently a plus 800 for Offensive Rookie of the Year.
Who do they have leading?
Who they have leading baffles the shit out of me. They have Kenny Pickett with a plus 600. I mean, it's still plus, but like I don't see him being the leader.
So,
I would say Drake London should be the leader. Who they have at second with a plus 700. Breece Hall at plus 750, and then the Treylon Burks. Chris Olave at plus 900. That could be some good value. Garrett Wilson at plus 950, and Christian Watson out of Green Bay at plus 950 as well.
So I could understand the Kenny Pickett situation just a tad bit.
Yeah.
For the
He's
simple
gonna
fact
be
is
starting day one.
right.
No
I don't,
chance.
no. I
No.
don't think so. I think week 3 or week 4 he'll be starting. But you look at his situation. Look who his coach is. Look at who's surrounding him. It's Mike Tomlin we're talking about.
Right.
Mike Tomlin's, if I'm not mistaken, he's never missed the playoffs in his entire career. He took a crappy Pittsburgh team last year with an old-ass quarterback, Ben Roethlisberger, and made the playoffs.
Correction. I don't think it's he's never missed the playoffs. It's he's never had a losing record is what it is.
Okay, yeah.
He's never had a losing. He's always been at least 500.
At least. And so, I mean, I can respect that. I respect it. Do I think it's going to happen? No.
They got a rough one
Because here's the thing. You look at some of the great quarterbacks, some of the great second-year quarterbacks we saw last year, like Joe Burrow. Or was Joe Burrow second last year? Or was it his third?
Yeah, that was his second.
Look at his first year. Not that great.
Got
Cincinnati
hurt,
was
yeah.
not that great, and he did get hurt at the end of the season.
Joe Burrow was playing great until he got hurt.
Yeah.
Yes, but he wasn't winning. Like they were not.
True.
They were not
weren't.
winning at all.
True.
It took his second year for them, and he went to the Super Bowl in his second year as a starting quarterback. When you have rookie quarterbacks that usually come in, you have to have a decent surrounding. To me, Kenny Pickett has that surrounding. I just don't know.
I think he has it as far as coaching staff, but as far as receiving core, I don't know.
Receiving core,
I don't
no.
know. If
I mean, Deontay Johnson's their number one weapon.
Right.
Yeah.
Who's wanting the same sort of contract that like AJ or DK or Debo just got. He wants like 20 plus a year is what Deontay wants,
we don't need
and that's
that
why
crap.
there's a hold in right now with Deontay Johnson.
So anyway, but like I say, rookie quarterbacks typically it takes a lot to see a rookie quarterback. Like you saw it with RG3, because RG3 had a pretty good first year, even though he was hurt the entire year.
Mm-hmm.
And he probably shouldn't have even played his first year. And I really believe that's the reason why we don't see him anymore is because of that 1 year. They took a huge risk at a rookie quarterback.
Mike Shanahan fucked
Mike
RG3's
Shanahan,
career.
yes, I agree 100% with that. And we will not see how great RG3 could have become. And I know I'm going to make this comparison, and I don't care what anybody thinks. But Dak Prescott and Ezekiel Elliott, their rookie seasons, they also had a good surrounding.
Yep.
But here's the thing. They had a good offensive line.
Yep.
They don't have that offensive line anymore. Pittsburgh does not have that offensive line like the Cowboys did that year that Dak and Zeke were rookies. So we'll see. But like I said again, I don't see Kenny Pickett being that rookie quarterback that's going to be able to take them far. I just don't see it.
I agree. I think if he does win it, it's going to be strictly numbers. Right.
Right. And so
it's not going to be because he led them to a playoff and led them to an 11 and whatever season. Like it's not going to be that. It's going to be like, okay, this dude put up, 4,500 yards, 30 touchdowns, 12 interceptions, and just happened to not win games.
Right. And I will also say, and this is actually this can be a great segue into one of the bigger topics for today. I'm glad you mentioned surrounding because I have the best example in the world for that, and it happens to be one of Kenny Pickett's teammates, Mitchell Trubisky. So when it came to where we were as an organization in that 2017 draft, I know a lot of Bears fans liked immediately like, oh, we could have had Patrick Mahomes. Yeah, we could have. But I'm going to stand by my statement that even Patrick Mahomes drafted into that Bears situation that we were in. We signed fucking Mike Glennon to a $45 million contract. What the hell does that tell you about where we are as an organization? Patrick needed that year to sit behind Alex Smith. That is what he needed. And when it came to Trubisky was just set up to fail from day one because I don't remember who said this. It might be who I consider one of my mortal enemies in the sports world, Mel Kiper. Cannot stand him. I think it might have been him that said it because he said it involving Mac Jones. And when I heard it, I just immediately thought of Trubisky, where it's like you look at Mac Jones, his one college year going to the pros. you look at why he only played 1 year, and you ask, why was he only playing 1 year? And you look at it logically. Look at the guys that were in front of him. Jalen Hurts, Tua Tagovailoa. I may have said that wrong. I don't know.
That's right.
And then
well, yeah, Jalen was first.
Well, I just mean I said the last name wrong. Wrong.
Jalen Hurts.
And then you look at Trubisky. Trubisky started, I think it was only 1 year in college as well. And you ask why. Do either of you guys happen to know the quarterback that was starting above Mitchell Trubisky before?
Where did Mitchell Trubisky go to
North
college?
Carolina.
He went to North Carolina. Let's see. I'm trying to remember. He was drafted in
2017.
That means in 2016
was his year of starting. So
yes.
2015. Who was the quarterback for North Carolina?
Lord have mercy. You're gonna say it, and it's on the tip of my tongue.
He wore number 12.
You're gonna kill me.
Marquis Williams.
Really? Okay, that's what I was gonna. Yeah, that's
Marquis Williams. So it's like
I would have never got that.
Exactly. You would have never. Exactly. That's the point. It's just like you look at Jalen, you look at Tua, you're like, all right, makes sense why Mac was the third guy, why he wasn't starting. You look at Trubisky, it's just like, why Trubisky's supposed to be this top 2 talent. Why wasn't he starting? I mean, how did Marquise beat him out? So it's like those sort of situations. It's like it's very telling about a quarterback coming into the pros, and that's Trubisky coming into the situation he came into was a horrible situation to come into for him. And I would have said Patrick. Patrick, I think, would have thrived a little bit better than Trubisky did. But honestly, in hindsight, I'm glad it didn't happen. But in hindsight, the only quarterback out of that draft that could have been drafted by Chicago and possibly thrived in the situation was Deshaun Watson. Which brings us to our big topic for the day. Just because of how I feel, I think we're all pretty upset about this. I think we can all agree to that. But I feel like you're ready to pop. So I'm gonna let you just go ahead and pop. Let's send some fire.
Goodness.
Send out some fire into that mic and start off this topic beautifully.
This is when I'm gonna grab my food and eat, boys.
Yeah, you go right ahead.
I feel like you're about to unleash some fire, and I'm ready for it. Let's get it, because this is some bullshit.
Oh my goodness,
Ricky,
gracious.
let's get it. Also,
Ladies
before
and
you
gentlemen,
get into it,
okay, go ahead. Go.
Tyler said, "Tell Rick that he misses you as well." But he said the seat doesn't look as good as it used to. Ouch.
You're right. It looks even better, sir.
Fuck you, Tyler. Damn. All right, Ricky, floor is yours. I'm sorry. Oh, here we go. Shane's like, all right, let me get some Zaxby's going.
Feel free to
I am going to a comedy show on Saturday with Kevin Hart. Kevin Hart is coming to Simmons. He is the only person in this entire world right now that can make me laugh, okay? As far as when it comes to this stupid nonsense that we have known as the NFL, and worst of all, the NFLPA. First of all, I want to ask this question. How in the hell do you compare the sexual assault that he has right now? How do you even compare it to what we've seen in the past? Calvin Ridley, for God's sake, bet $1,500 chump change, and he was suspended an entire season for $1,500 is chump change, people. $1,500 is like me and you spending 20 damn bucks.
Exactly.
And he can spend an entire damn season. Lord have mercy. God forgive me. I'm about to cuss a fucking selling out right now.
Yes,
Son of a bitch.
Welcome to a terrible football show.
Tell
Let's go.
me, God, please don't let my pastor watch this. Or even anybody that I know except for Todd. Todd can still watch this. But anyway.
Anyone from the church.
Where the fuck have we gone? Like this is okay. Even the arbitrator herself came out and said he legitimately did this. He legitimately wanted to show his balls off to these massage spas. Look at me. I'm going to do this because I'm Deshaun Watson and I know I could get away with this. And so she legitimately put this in her ruling. He legitimately did this. There was something else that caught my eye. He legitimately showed zero remorse for his actions. And yet the NFLPA decided, hey, we're going to defend this guy. And the NFL, more than just about anybody that's been out there, has been outspoken about domestic violence abuse, sexual assault, you name it. The NFL has been one of the front runners who has been part of this movement, as you might as well call it. Okay? Now listen, I want people to understand something, and I want you to understand me very, very clearly when I say this. I am all for the justice system, okay? I really believe, I love this country. Okay, I absolutely love our country. I love our judicial system. Whether they get it right, whether they get it wrong, you're in front of a jury of your peers, and a jury of your peers hears every single bit of evidence, and a jury of your peers comes together with one single collection, except for fuck you, O.J. Simpson. Now, I'm going to go ahead and say this much. I am okay that this did not go. I'm okay this did not go to a criminal court. Okay, I understand why it didn't go to a criminal court. But tell me why he's still settling money with these 24 women. There was 25. One of them dropped it because she didn't have enough. She didn't have enough evidence. She didn't have enough proof that he actually assaulted her or whatever the case may be.
And keep in mind, there's like a grand total of like 60, but it's only the 24 that's actually doing the case.
Exactly. So now, here's the difference. Vince McMahon, I know this is a terrible football show. I know this is football. Vince McMahon is troubled. The reason he was resigned as CEO and president of the WWE is because he paid, right now, the total is $12 million plus for hush money. Do you happen to know what settlement is? It's basically a legal way of saying, here's some fucking hush money, so that way you don't take my ass to criminal court, so that way I'm not in the damn prison system. This dumbass should be in prison right now. We shouldn't even be discussing this. He should not be playing NFL. He should not be playing for the Cleveland Browns. The Cleveland Browns should not be paying him. He's not even losing that much money. He's losing $300,000 freaking dollars. I mean, come on. He's making freaking. Now, of course, I know this year he's only making $1 million.
Yep.
I understand that. But there is nobody in this world that can tell me in their right mind that this dude right now should be playing football. I have been consistent from day one. The minimum he should have served out of the NFL is 2 years. At least 2 years, if not more. For the simple fact is, we're not talking about one. We're not talking about two.
Yep.
We're talking about 25 consistent statements from 25 different women. And here we are in a country, you look at the NFL, you look at the NBA, and sort of the MLB to a certain extent, because they've even had some issues with the MLB. And all of a sudden, they have been the front runners of promoting women, promoting domestic violence. That way we have less domestic violence, less sexual assault. And now we're basically back to start one. We're basically back to square one with this entire situation. And it's all because this stupid arbitrator wanted to compare his... She had legitimate proof. There was legitimate proof that he literally assaulted these women, which means he forced something upon them they did not want to do. And yet alone, because he's got multi-million dollars, because he's a quarterback in the NFL, he gets away with it. He basically, all he's giving is paid hush money. That's all, and it's a legal way of giving hush money. I don't give a damn what anybody, no one in their right mind can tell me anything else. There's nothing else that you can really say, or even do to this situation. We got freaking Brittany Griner right now in Russia right now. That's a different story. But why are you promoting Brittany Griner getting out when you can't even help 24 other freaking women that were sexually assaulted that had legitimate proof that they were sexually assaulted? Were they raped? No. But still, in the state of Georgia, years ago, there was a kid in a high school, and I'm surprised I remember this. There was a kid who is now in prison because he sexually assaulted a minor. Had he raped her, it would have been a misdemeanor. But he didn't rape her. He sexually assaulted her, and he got 10 plus years in prison for it. He was a high school all-star football player, prominent to go to the college football ranks, possibly could have played in the NFL. But the justice system in the state of Georgia, their laws say a sexual assault is worse than rape. But yet, here we are. The NFL, congratulations. Now you have proven once more you have zero power. You have zero, what's the word I'm looking for? Zero integrity, anything when it comes to this. And like I said, had he gone to prison, or had he gotten at least in some kind of trouble for it, because it was just basically a slap on the damn wrist, had he served some kind of suspension and come back, Justice would have been done for me, and I would have been more than okay with this. I was more than okay when they brought back Michael Vick from the whole dogfighting incident. I was totally fine with him coming back. He came back a better man, and what does he do now? He is now a vocal, outspoken person against dog violence, which he should be. He was remorseful for it. He shows remorse for it, and now he's a legitimate figure in society. Plaxico Burress took a gun in the damn bar. It goes off.
Yep.
He goes to prison for it. He served a 2-year suspension from the NFL. So did Michael Vick, because Michael Vick was also serving 18 months in prison. And once he got out, they had said, okay, we're going to give you a 2-year sentence. We're going to give you a 2-year suspension, but we're going to count the 1.5 years that you're in prison as part of your suspension. And no, Michael Vick wasn't the same when he came back, but he still served time and he still was able to come back. But yet you've got a guy, 24 counts, people, of sexual assault. Hey, let's just give him 6 games. There is nothing that anybody could say or do that could convince me otherwise. This is asinine, people. Asinine. I'm done. I'm done. I'm done. I'm done. I'm done. I got to shut up for now.
Shane, let's give him a round of applause. That was incredible. I love that sort of, and Tyler was loving it too. He's just like, man's on that Stephen A mode, which you were. But no, you're 100% right. Because, I mean, like, that's the thing that people need to keep in mind, because they just look back. Yeah, I've seen some people look back at, like, the Ben Roethlisberger situation. That was one single person, one single night incident, and he got, I think it was 6 games as well.
He got 6 games as well.
But, like, again, this is, like, this is 24 people. And, I think I was watching, he's on Good Morning Football. Kyle Brandt, I think is his name. Mm-hmm. I was watching him talk about it this morning. And, he said, he's just like, man, I'm so beyond, like, the conspiracy theory that all these people just got together. That 24 people plus a total of, like, 60, but only 20. He's like, no, there's no way that these all just came together.
Had you had 3 or 4 of them, I would understand the conspiracy thing.
Maybe, yeah.
Maybe.
Yeah.
But 24?
Doing the case.
24?
But 20, just doing the case.
And that's
60.
just the case.
Yeah, 60 people. All these other women that saying, like, yeah, this happened to me too, but they didn't have, like, any evidence, so they weren't doing the case. There's no way. So it's like, okay, so for the judge to come down for a 6-game suspension saying that he broke these personal conduct policies, it's asinine, like what you're saying. Now, could it be more? Yes, because Roger Goodell can still step in and do more. Yeah, this is just per the judge.
So the NFL and the NFLPA hired this arbitrator. They had a mutual agreement to hire this arbitrator to hear this case out. Yes, Roger Goodell could still serve, and the NFL has until Thursday to appeal her decision, which I think they will do. And if they don't do, wouldn't surprise me, because it's the NFL. What legitimacy do they have right now at this point? But there's nothing. There is nothing that you can do to defend this ruling. There's nothing. Like, I don't understand. I don't understand.
The only people defending it are hardcore Browns fans who are desperate to anything.
And so, listen,
get your head out of your ass. This is bigger than football.
I understood why they suspended Calvin Ridley. I understand the gambling thing. I understand that. But you cannot compare the 2 cases and say, 24 sexual assault accounts. Let's give him 6 games. We'll just, he wasn't criminally charged. We'll just give him 6 games. Guess what? Calvin Ridley wasn't criminally charged either. Yep. And yet here we are. He served an entire year. If I'm Calvin Ridley, I am going ballistic at this point, and then I'm going to the NFL. But, he served his suspension. He's going to come back hopefully this season.
No, this is the year he's suspended.
I thought he was suspended last season.
No, last season he missed a lot of time because a lot of mental health stuff.
Okay, that's right.
Last year he was having a lot of mental health problems, a lot of personal problems, IRL, so stepped away from the game. No, this is the season he's suspended.
I'm going livid if I'm him right now. Yeah. I'm just going completely livid right now. You cannot compare the two. It is absolutely ridiculous. And I understand that. Like
Tyler said that 100% NFL will not appeal it. They agreed on it before the ruling.
Yeah, and it's just
I mean, look
no
at
integrity whatsoever.
I mean, look at it this way. How many games did Adrian Peterson serve for,
I don't know
for spanking his kid?
I don't know how much he served.
So
was it 8 games?
I think it was 8. I'll look it up here in a little bit, but yes, I think you're right. I think it was 8.
Didn't leave any marks or anything.
No,
by what I saw. But only reason why he got caught was because
a neighbor,
his neighbor or ex-wife or whatever, or girlfriend at the time, said that it was aggressive. So he served 8 games for disciplining his own child.
Adrian Peterson missed 6 games.
Okay.
6 games.
And then, another topic that people like to point out, which things are completely different now in like the new CBA and stuff. But a lot of people immediately like to also point out like Josh Gordon, where he's missed like 25 plus games just because of weed, just weed.
Right.
And then there's also DeAndre Hopkins, who had traces of, whatever he had.
A PED substance that he wasn't even aware of that he was taking.
Yeah,
and
he's suspended 6 games for this year as well. So it's just like, where's the consistency? Where is the consistency in this whole thing? There's zero consistency across the board.
Right, and of course, it's like I said before. If you're going to promote domestic violence, you have to show it.
Yep.
You have to have rules on this. Like, I mean, it's almost like you have to say, look, if you're convicted of this, like or even if you're not criminally charged, this is what you're going to get suspended, and you stay consistent with that. And they're just not.
Well,
it is just ridiculous.
I think when it comes to this, I think it should be, the NFL should have a minimum, right? Like, hey, if it's bare minimum and you get charged and there was no other things piling up, this is bare minimum for this, right? So, okay, you smoke weed and you get positive, minimum 2 games. But if it's excessive and you're like dealing and you're doing all this stuff, then it's, things can pile up. Like, it's got to be a minimum, and then it's got to go case by case after that, because not every case is going to be the exact same.
Right.
But, I mean, like what you were saying, 24 people compared to what Ben Roethlisberger had, like, what, one? Like, of course, like, they each should have a bare minimum of this many games. But then, of course, since his is 24, 25 cases, it should, of course, be a much bigger deal, because it's, 24 more people than what
he's settling these cases, which basically, like I said, it's legal hush money is basically what it is. It's basically admitting guilt. Yes, I did this. I should not have done this. Here's you some money.
Yeah.
I mean,
that's what it is.
What do we do? I don't know what else to say about it. It's just,
it's mind blowing.
Exactly. It's asinine. It's futile. It is just ridiculous that it even came to this. He should not be playing football at all, at least this season. Yep. At least this season. At least give him a year away from football. I know he didn't play last year. At least give him another year away. At least another year. Goodness gracious. He got a slap on the wrist, and goodness gracious.
All right, Tyler, you have a good one. And also, if things with this whole situation just completely go south, and let's say he comes back and he's nowhere near the same quarterback that he was, let's just assume that it's a possibility. Obviously, there is. Cleveland deserves every bit of pain they get with that contract.
Yes,
100%.
They deserve it, and this is coming from someone, and like Shane, you can at least back me up on this. This is coming from someone who for one period of my life, I considered the Browns one of my squads. I mean, you can back me up on that. I did. I loved the Browns with Baker. I loved the energy that team had. I love Nick Chubb. I love Jarvis. Odell being there was dope. My boy David at tight end for Miami. Love that team. But ultimately, the Jags are my second favorite, but now that everything's gone down with the Cleveland, it's just like, you guys deserve every bit of pain you get at this point.
I've always rooted for the Browns because they have been so bad.
You can't help but not to root for them. That's always been me.
Especially like when Peyton Hillis was drafted there. I was like, okay.
No, he wasn't drafted. He went there.
Undrafted free agent or whatever. But, when he got signed to the team, I was like, okay, I'm going to follow him a little bit more. And then he had the year that he had, like, I would love cheering for the Browns just because who doesn't love cheering for an underdog? But with this, you kind of have to take a step back and be like, hey, you're going to get what's coming to you.
Yeah. Was he on the cover of Madden, too?
Yeah, Madden 12. Yep. I have it right over there on the
Madden
shelf.
Madden 12, sure did. Goodness gracious. Oh, you got a good amount of games over there. I'm going to look at that.
Grab it real quick. Also grab something else for you boys. Got good old... Peyton Hillis, and got Darren McFadden.
Nope.
There you go. There you go. That was a fun NCAA game, too. That was legit.
I know a lot of people hold fond memories to, like, NCAA 07 with Reggie Bush on it. Fair. That was a pretty good game. A lot of people hold fond memories of another one of the, I think it was, like, maybe 10.
Yeah, it's the one with the Pittsburgh guy on it. I forgot who it was.
No.
That's the one I always...
Well, that's Larry Fitt. That was, like, 03. or something like that. But like, I've played a lot of NCAA games, and guys, I gotta say, I genuinely think NCAA 14 is the best one.
For sure.
There's a lot of people that don't agree to that at all. There's a lot of people say
that's because people are stupid.
There's a lot of people that say that 12 is, or 11 or 10, and I'm just like, guys, I'm telling you, 14 was awesome.
14 was the best. 9 was my favorite because DMAC was a cover.
Yeah. I will say shout out to NCAA 08. That was one with Jared Zambaski, whatever his name is, on the cover from Boise State. But mostly shout out to the previous generation versions of PS2 and Xbox, because those specific versions was the last NCAA games where you could create a college in-game.
Mm-hmm. I used to do that too.
Even on the NCAA 08 for like 360 or PS3, they took the feature out because they were still adjusting the new hardware.
Actually, no, that's actually not true. So EA Sports actually had a team builder website that you could go to.
Oh, yeah, I know.
Well,
I'm
talking about in-game.
Oh, my fault. My bad. I didn't hear that part.
Dude, I used the shit out of Team Builder.
I did too, man. I built like these juggernauts.
I love Team Builder. No, just the in-game, like offline feature, essentially.
That's right. That is correct.
But also with this whole topic, another big piece of news that came out today that we'll jump over to, and I want to jump over to it because, like, it's news. We need to talk about it, but this news came out today because I feel like it's to distract people from Deshaun Watson, and that's the stuff coming out of Miami. Which we've known this was coming for a while with the owners. Stephen Ross. There's been an ongoing investigation where if they were actually trying to purposely lose games, where Brian Flores claimed he was being paid $100K per loss, stuff like that, and blah blah blah. And now it's set where they've lost one of their first round draft picks for next year. As well as a third-round draft pick, and the owner is suspended until like October 17th of this year, and with further investigation still happening.
Is the owner being suspended really mean a lot? Because how many owners are really hands-on? Like, okay, you're going to do this, you're going to do this, you're going to do this.
So the owner is
3 actually.
So the owner is getting the same exact suspension as Deshaun Watson?
Exactly.
Because he tried to make his team better?
Yeah, by tanking to get a higher draft capital.
Even though I don't agree with it, with how he did it, but yes.
But also some of the other reasons why he got suspended is because he did legitimately break rules. Because they did have a lot of findings of tampering, where back in like 2020 or 2019 season, where they did find records of where he was in contact with Tom Brady when he was still in the Patriots. There was records of when he was where he was in contact earlier this year with Sean Payton while he was still in the Saints before he retired to be the Dolphins' next head coach without contacting the Saints first. So that is a tampering.
That is tampering.
As well as once again contacting Tom Brady, because there was those, for a brief window, that rumor coming out that Tom Brady was going to be a partial owner of the Dolphins and a player, so that was this year as well. So yeah, Stephen Ross is, bending some rules, breaking some rules around the league here to try to make the team better,
but
which
if it
now
was
bit
Robert
him
Kraft
in the ass.
or Jerry Jones, we're not hearing of this.
No, 100%.
Right.
We're not hearing this at all. I think
he's paying that hush money.
Of course, I'm all like, I was a huge advocate for Brian Flores. He should not have lost that job.
No.
I mean, there is no.
Dude, you start off 1-7, then finished like winning every game since, like, because it was like 1-7, I think was the start, and then they finished 9-8. Mm-hmm. Like, why the fuck is he fired?
Yeah, there's nothing to defend that at all.
Like, that's a hell of a turnaround. Like, you can't fire a coach
that's like
after
the
that
good,
turnaround.
Y'all remember the good old Al Davis? That's like one of his firings.
Shout out to Al Davis.
Yeah, rest in peace, sir. Yeah. Rest in peace.
No, and with this situation, another one that people are also going to be looking at is what's going on over in Washington as well with Dan Snyder, and that's a whole other situation going on there that's ongoing, and it's to the point where Dan Snyder could be forced to sell the team and lose the team, which I feel like he should at this point with everything going on over there.
Dan Snyder is probably one of the worst NFL owners, if not the worst one in the entire NFL.
I could agree with that. Yeah, he's towards the top. He's towards the top.
When your name is always brought up with something crappy,
yep,
it's time to go. Like we were talking about it earlier, how RG3's career.
Yep.
Dan Snyder. Now, all of a sudden, Dan Snyder. It's always bad news with Dan Snyder.
Yep.
It's always a laughingstock when you play for the the Washington football team, whatever the hell they're.
Commanders.
The Commanders. Commanders, my ass.
Hail to the Commanders.
Commanders, my ass.
The commies.
There you go. That's basically what it is. It's communism over there.
No, the Dan Snyder thing, man, he is one of the worst owners in the league. I would say he is by far the worst, especially with everything that's continued to come out of Washington with all of the basically the sex ring they had going on in his office and shit like that. Another owner I would say is bad, but not because he's doing anything like bad like that, but just because he's a complete fucking moron, is Jaguars owner Shad Khan. He is such an idiot. He is such... If he just backed off and let a president, GM, or whatever, let them do all the decisions, Jags could maybe go somewhere, but he wants to be fully hands-on. And I'm just like... Man,
and I don't
Tony, when are you going to
football.
come over here?
I don't think he knows much about football to begin with.
No, he doesn't. No, he doesn't. He doesn't because a lot of people didn't see this, but there was a video where he actually went to the combine with Trent Baalke, who needs to be fired as well, in my opinion. And someone recorded this where Shad was asking Trent, just like, what can I see here that I can't just see on tape? And I'm like, that right there tells you everything why he's such a fucking moron.
That and he hired the one and only Urban Meyer.
Oh my God. That was such a painful ride last year for me, man.
I think that was like that painful ride that y'all had with Urban Meyer
Gave me enjoyment.
was
Shut up.
Yes, you know what? I'll go ahead and agree with that
Shut
because
up.
I hate Ohio State. And, Urban Meyer is one of the main reasons I hated Ohio State to begin with. But you just look at it, it was even worse than the Chad Morris era for Arkansas because not only was Chad Morris losing, he was going elsewhere. Urban Meyer was obviously dancing on the floor with someone that wasn't his wife, and he got caught doing it. So, yeah.
Man, that Urban Meyer thing was... that is the worst NFL coaching hiring in history. I didn't think anything was
I
ever...
disagree. I'm sure there's worse than that.
Ooh, with everything that came out of it and has continued to come out of it, I don't know, man. I mean, he didn't go back with the team after the loss, which then created the whole bar incident, which I'll shout out to the Jaguars for that video. That was incredible. And then it was just basically like the abusive environment that he had set up. I mean, he kicked his kicker, which is now a lawsuit currently ongoing right now. There was the various other things where he's calling out his coaching staff, where he's just like, "How many rings do you have? You see how many I've got? You've got none. Where did you come from? You didn't come from anywhere." He's like, my coaching staff at Bowling Green was better than this one. It's like, but you hired them. What do you mean? Like, you hired these guys. What do you mean? He benched James Robinson, right? For no reason in the game, to the point that even your rookie quarterbacks come up like, yo, why the fuck is James out? And, Urban's like, oh, I have no idea. Even though he's the one that benched him, gets him put back into the game. There was also, there was one press conference in particular. I don't remember who the player was. It was like a third string corner or something like that, where a reporter asked about, that corner, whatever, and Urban's like, oh yeah, he's playing pretty well right now. He'll be making some reps back in here soon. Dude hadn't played all year long.
I still have high hopes for Trevor Lawrence. I have very high hopes for Trevor Lawrence.
I do too. I think Trevor's a guy.
I have watched him play since his junior year in high school.
Trevor's a dog.
Trevor can ball. He can ball.
Dude, he's a dog.
And I'm telling you, I'm really rooting for him. I really am. I'm really rooting for him.
Yeah, no, I've got so much hope for Trevor. It's just you had to get him in the right environment, and I do think that Doug Peterson can help build that right environment. So lots of exciting stuff coming out of there. Any other thoughts that you guys want to throw out there with Deshaun Watson or Dolphins owner, training camp stuff? Any other pro topics?
I've said my piece with Deshaun Watson. I may bring it up more in the season as well, especially when he starts playing.
Tyler, I will ban you from chat if you do not stop.
I hope and pray he throws an interception every pass he throws this year.
Look on one silver lining. There's one single silver lining with this whole thing.
What's that?
Is that if he does not get more games in the NFL, his return game at Baltimore. That's a rowdy ass crowd and that's a tough ass team. So there's one single silver lining. That might be a good game to bet on.
Oh, yes.
That might be a good game to bet on. Yep, week 7.
I'll go ahead
Cleveland at Baltimore.
I'm going to give you a sneak preview. I have high expectations for Baltimore this year.
Okay.
I have very high expectations for Baltimore this year.
Okay.
Lamar Jackson barely showed up last year as far as statistics.
Or to games.
Tyler, one more in your band. He's just memeing. Yeah,
Tyler,
he's just memeing.
Tyler, man, we're in the middle of a show. Man, I am trying to say something here, man, and you are interrupting. Block him. Just mute him. Just mute him. Just mute him.
Banning him.
Ban him.
Oh, goodness gracious. Anyway, so, like I said, the last couple of years, Lamar Jackson really has not shown up that well. And I know he's in the middle of contract negotiations right now. I still believe he needs to get an agent because he's not going to get the money. That's why you get an agent.
Yep.
You get an agent to represent you.
Yep.
They respect you more. Not having an agent going through a contract is like you showing up to court without an attorney.
It draws it out. The only case I've ever thought of where it did not get drawn out, and I mean, let's face it, even though he's had some personality problems here recently, he's still fucking unbelievably intelligent, was Richard Sherman. He didn't have he negotiated all of his own contracts, and you know, there are those few rare breeds that can do that and the process still be sped up pretty well. But then there's the guys who, I'm not doubting anyone's intelligence, but it's going to drag out the process because not only is Lamar a good example, I'm dealing with that problem up in Chicago. Roquan Smith, he doesn't have an agent, and he's wanting a contract. He's currently a hold-in up in Chicago, not participating in training camp right now.
I never understood that. Like, I understand that I understand the NFL is a business. I understand the professional sports in general is a business. I understand that. I wholeheartedly understand that. One of the things, though, and this is just me, if you're wanting to win a championship, you're wanting to do everything you can to win a championship. So even you may have a $5 million contract for this coming season or whatever. I don't know what his is, but I'm just giving an example. You may have a $5 million contract for this upcoming season. Your job is to legitimately win games. You've got to do what it takes to win games. You've got to be around your team. You've got to get in those reps. Because right now they're right at that beginning stage where they're, you know what, we got to get back in shape a little bit. We've got to start getting these workouts in. We got to get these reps in. We got to get all this other kind of stuff that's going in. We've got to get this in now. So that way when week 1 is here, we're prepared to go. Because at this point sitting out, what good is it doing at all? Because now, I mean, we're talking about a player who has a decent impact. I'll give him that much, but you can easily be replaced. That's the whole thing.
Right.
That is why I disagree with the Zeke Elliott's extension. Why give him that much money? He can easily be replaced.
Oh, yeah, especially at running back position.
Yes, running backs in the NFL average about 5 to 6 seasons. That is the average NFL running back. And if you look at his statistics, he's basically done. He's gotten worse every single year. I know he's had a couple of injuries here and there, but ever since he signed that extension, and even a little bit before then, he has not ran the ball the same. He just acts like he doesn't care. He's just like, give me the ball, get it like a half a yard, bam, I'll just get tackled. I'm getting my money. And that's basically what it is. And now what he's doing is he's drawing the running back market value up. Oh, you can get paid so many millions of dollars carrying the ball for 1 yard per carry, which I know it's more than that, but I'm just exaggerating. Hey, I think I deserve $20 million. I can do 1 yard per carry. I can get 1,000. Someone mentioned he got 1,000 yards last year. That's not impressive. They had 17 games last year. That's not impressive at all. That you get 1,000 yards in 17 games. Man, I'm done.
I think, I had a conversation. I forgot who it was with, but running backs are so expendable right now that really, look at all the top guys that you can think of. Really, after you hit that 300 career carry mark, that's when running backs tend to start falling off.
So I know we haven't really discussed and gotten into fantasy football yet, but I'll go ahead and give you one little scenario that I'll go ahead and mention right now. Running backs are deep this year. We're not used to that with running backs. Usually running backs it's usually a give or take when it comes to running backs. This year, running backs, to me, the way that I've looked at, because I've looked at a couple of boards, to me, running backs are a little deep this year for fantasy football compared to what it's been in the last 3 or 4 years.
For sure.
And we'll probably do some fantasy talk here one of these next 2 episodes because our draft is going to be at the end of this month. So we'll probably do some fantasy talk. I mean, the next 2 episodes are fully NFL focused anyway, doing NFC and AFC predictions. So we'll probably dive into some fantasy talk. But honestly, we should probably dive into some college talk, honestly. Before we really dive into it, though, I do want to give some shout-outs, one last little bit of shout-outs here for some pro stuff. because like I mentioned earlier, I was looking at some futures bets, and I'm going to continue to look at some futures bets. It's for college as well. I didn't get a chance to go look at college because obviously there's so fucking many. I started scrolling through there, and I immediately saw like I think it was Arizona is I don't remember what their line was, but it's like their game over unders is basically 2.5. So I was just like, I might hammer that under. But anyway, so I do have some futures bets that I do want to shout out in the NFL. For most rushing yards, Jonathan Taylor, plus 425 for most rushing yards. Pretty solid value. Derrick Henry, plus 525. And Nick Chubb, plus 1,000. I feel like he's going to get a lot of yards just those first 6 games. So those are 3 futures bets I like there for most rushing yards. Most receptions, Kupp, plus 350. Adams, plus 800. Justin Jefferson plus 800, and because there's no more Hill, Travis Kelce plus 1,400 could sprinkle a couple bucks there, about get a little bit of a payout.
Still have, but Kansas City still has a legitimate receiver core. Like
they do, but Travis is the number 1 now in my mind. You can't convince me otherwise. Because after that, it's Juju. I mean, they have got the rookie Sky Moore, who I think is going to do pretty well. But Travis is the guy. So plus 1,400 for most receptions could be something to watch. I think
most defenses could target Kelce though a little bit more. And then again, who's going to guard him? Nobody.
Right. Most receiving yards. All of these numbers are really good. And keep in mind, these are the leading numbers. Kupp plus 800, Jefferson plus 800, and Chase plus 950. Those are all good to sprinkle just a couple bucks on.
Yeah, that is.
Most passing yards, Herbert plus 600, Mahomes plus 750.
Justin Herbert?
And that's the leading one at plus 600.
Wow.
This is all good value. Like just to sprinkle a couple bucks on. I'm not saying drop your bank account.
Right.
Just, some. I've only got 2 over and unders right now that I picked out that I liked. Seattle. Over under of 5.5. Do the under of plus 115. Under 5 wins for Seattle.
For who? For Seattle?
Yeah.
Shoot.
And Tampa Bay
3 wins.
Their over under is 11.5. The over is plus 105. Now losing Jensen is a massive loss there at the center position, but you never want to lose a guy like that. But if you're going to lose him, the silver lining is at least it was in training camp, so you can, the next guy can get his reps. But 11.5, so 12 wins for Tampa
at this
plus
point,
105 could be a decent little value.
At this point, Tom Brady could come out in crutches with an oxygen mask on, and I'm not betting against Tom Brady.
That's what I'm saying, man. Could be some good value. And I'll pull up some more futures bets the next few episodes for college and pro. Those are just the ones that
Justin Herbert one surprised me just a little bit. I'm not going to lie to you. Yeah. I'm not going to lie to you.
Well, I also want to stress I'm getting all mine from Betley Sportsbook.
Right.
We unfortunately still don't have the major sports books that I want to use because I want to use FanDuel. That's what I want to use, but unfortunately it's not here for us, and it probably won't come anytime soon. Because Arkansas is being really stingy with the cut.
Use the Oakland.
So Betley's what I'm using.
Oakland anywhere.
All right, let's do some college. We've gotten pretty far into the show now, so we'll do some college chat.
Goodness gracious, we've been here an hour already.
Yeah. So college football conference winners and predictions. We'll shout out who we think's going to win the conference with kind of a record range there. Plus our number 1 and number 2 favorite teams if we don't have them winning the conference. So we'll start off with Group of 5. Let me actually hop over to my other list here. Yeah, we'll start off with Group of 5. So the American Conference, which of course this is Cincinnati's last year in American, right? Or are they in the Big 12 this year?
I think no, this is their last year.
Okay, Cincinnati's going to drop off up front. Can't convince me otherwise. They're dropping off. I don't think BYU is going to be that good either. Because BYU's where is BYU? Are they Mountain West?
BYU is Mountain West.
That's right. So Cincinnati and UCF are a couple of the main ones from the American. Cincinnati is going to drop off. UCF is going to be average as hell. I actually have Houston winning the conference. I think Houston, they kept a lot of the same pieces that they already had. I actually personally have them going 11-1.
So I respect that pick. I really boggled Houston because I really like Houston. And I hate to say this. I really hate Gus Malzahn, people. I really do. But he's had a ton of success, even with 1 year at UCF. I think Gus is gonna pull it off at UCF. I've got UCF winning this conference.
Okay.
So let's see. Let's look at his schedule real quick. South Carolina State. That's a win.
Yeah, easy.
Louisville should be a win. Louisville's not that good. They'll beat Florida Atlantic's going to be a tough game because it's going to be at Florida Atlantic. Florida Atlantic's usually play pretty good football, but it's UCF.
Shout out to Nkosi Perry, former Miami quarterback.
Exactly, sir. I'm glad you said that. Looking at their schedule, they have Cincinnati at home. The only away game they have that could be a loss, and even though I don't consider this team a legitimate threat this year, Memphis is the only road game I could see UCF possibly losing. But even then, Memphis, I don't see Memphis being that legitimate of a threat. So I mean, I'm just gonna go ahead and shout it out. They beat Cincinnati, they're going undefeated.
Talking about UCF?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
What about you, Shane Macaroon?
Honestly, I haven't paid that much attention to Conference USA as far as like
American.
off season or
This
American.
is the American, sir.
See, there you go.
Shane chooses Tulane.
I'm gonna go with the underdog. I'm just kidding. I'm Tyler this episode. I'm filling him for his shoes today. So I'm gonna pick whoever's at the bottom, just because. No. Honestly, UCF. I hate Gus Malzahn, but you're right. I watched him a ton last year. Mostly because of Destroying, if you know who that is.
Yep.
He went to a lot of his games, posted YouTube videos and stuff. So I paid close attention to UCF, and I think that they're probably going to be the best team. Man, I don't know. I mean, out of knowledge, I just don't know.
Yeah, for me, for Houston, the only game that I see them losing is going to be the first one versus UTSA. And then after that, going on a run.
Yeah.
Because, for me, for my Conference USA winner, I still have UTSA Roadrunners at an 11-1 as well. Because, UTSA, didn't they? I think they went undefeated last year. I mean, they ended up getting ranked first time in school history.
No, they lost one game.
They lost one, I think they lost in the championship game.
Okay, so they were undefeated up to that point then. Because they lost to Bailey Zappi.
Yes,
yeah, Bailey Zappi. Yeah.
I also have UTSA going undefeated and winning Conference USA.
Yeah, I feel like that's probably a safest bet, especially since Conference USA is dead as fuck. I mean, they don't really have much competition in there as it is right now. The MAC was kind of interesting.
Oh man, the MAC was tough for me.
The MAC was very hard for me because I was reading some different articles of people predicting MAC, and then it's like shouting out like, "Oh, Kent State's got a really good squad this year, this and that." And I looked at I messaged you guys about it. It's like, bro, they're sending Kent State out to die those first 4 weeks, and I'm just like, well goddamn, like week 1, 2, and 4 is just brutal games for them, and I'm just like, my God, what are you guys doing to the MAC? What did they do to deserve this? They just exist in their own little bubble, and you're gonna send them out to die?
Y'all remember that SEC Sun Belt competition that they did and everything like that, where everybody like Alabama, Arkansas, and a few others were literally like their non-conference was legit Sun Belt.
Right.
That's what the MAC is now.
And I just realized this looking at all of my conference winners. The MAC is the only conference winner I have that's not a double-digit winner. Every other conference I have the team going double-digit wins.
Okay, who do you have?
I have Northern Illinois at an 8-4.
That's interesting. I like it. I really do. I'm going to go a step ahead. I'm going to choose a team who won 7 games in the last 3 seasons. I'm going Bowling Green.
Tyler would love that pick.
Bowling Green returned 17 starters. And even in a conference like the MAC, returning your starters, returning those who have experience, it's big.
Yep.
I don't care how many wins you have. It's big. The MAC is not that deep this year. Like I think we could agree the MAC isn't deep at all this year. And so because I want you to look at this, because like I said, they have some legit non-conference games they can legitimately win early at UCLA. UCLA's not that good. They haven't been for a while. So at UCLA, I don't know if they're going to pull the win in. But what I'm saying is they have a legitimate chance to win. Eastern Kentucky, that's also going to be a tough one. Eastern Kentucky usually is decently in the FCS, but I still think they're going to win that game. Marshall's going to be tough. They're going to lose at Mississippi State. They'll beat Akron. They'll beat Buffalo. They have Miami, Ohio, who is also a legit favorite for that conference, but they also play Miami, Ohio at home. I think if they can get that motivation going. At Central Michigan will be a tough one. It's always tough to play at Central Michigan. Same with Western Michigan. Both of them. They have to play at Central Michigan and at Western Michigan, so that could be tough. They have Kent State at home. They have Toledo on the road. So right there, and of course they have at Ohio. So yes, I could see an easy 2 or 3 losses, but even then, the MAC is not that deep this year.
No.
I've got Bowling Green to win the conference.
Shane, what's your thoughts?
I would have to say Central Michigan or Northern Illinois. To me, they've just been the most
consistency. Yes,
yeah, they've been just the most consistent.
Western Michigan, y'all remember Western Michigan went undefeated a couple years ago.
Yeah, they did, didn't they? Because the fun couple years ago, was it literally just a couple years ago? You're talking about when they had like Corey Davis.
It might have been longer than that.
Because I have no idea. I'm just trying to figure out. Because I want to say when they had Corey Davis, I want to say I'm pretty sure they went like undefeated.
I believe so. I can't remember what year it was off the top of my head. I want to say.
Well, Tyler's cleaning his house, or he'd be able to answer for us. So fuck you, Tyler. You could have been here. This is your moment. We're talking the MAC. But yeah, no, Central Michigan, Northern Illinois. Those are both very good picks. But yeah, I just now noticed that though. Only conference winner I've got that's not getting double-digit wins.
Yeah, and like I said, that's a tough road schedule for Bowling Green. But I've got, like I said, I just don't think it's that deep this year, and so that's going with the underdog.
What about Mountain West?
Mountain West. Who did I pick? Oh, let me pull up my notes.
So my winner, and I feel like my winner is not definitely going to be the norm because I feel like a lot of people would naturally default to BYU, for example. I know there's actually a lot of chatter around Colorado State. I don't personally see it. But
I don't either.
I mean, I've seen the chatter is what I mean, but I don't see the hype of the chatter. But BYU is going to be the safest pick. But I'm actually going to go with a team that played very, very well last year behind their first-year head coach. And I feel like going into this second-year head coach for Utah State, that is not first year ever.
Really?
Is going to be Utah State.
Blake Anderson,
yeah. I feel like I don't know, man. I'm a big believer in magical stories. I truly am. We've seen it happen so many times, and I feel like we're going to see some magic happen this year because I mean it wasn't that long ago where unfortunately Blake Anderson did lose his son.
And his wife.
Lost his wife while he was still at Arkansas State. It was just this year as whenever he lost his son. We were in the middle of recording, Shane. At the end of the show when I saw the news popping on Twitter. It's a big T's and P's there, but I don't know. I just have a gut feeling this team is going to be magical this year. They got a lot of pieces coming back, and like what you said, that's a big for a team. I really do believe Utah State can really make a run and shock some people. They were already good last year. I don't remember the exact record. Was it like 10 wins? Do you have?
I can find out for you.
But I think Utah State 11-1. Is a pretty solid record. And since my second favorite team is in this conference, I will shout, I think I've got Hawaii going under first-year head coach Timmy Chang. Got him going 7-6. I think 7-6 is a very.
I'd have to look at their schedule.
I think that's a pretty fair record for us. But anyway, what's you boys' thoughts of Mountain West while I pull up Utah State?
So I am actually going to pick the team who Utah State plays on the road November the 25th. I have Boise State.
That's also a fair pick.
Boise State. I know they've been kind of the backfill here lately. This year, I think they make a comeback. I have Boise State winning the Mountain West. There is one other team, though, guys, that I would not sleep on. And you might laugh at me a little bit. I'm not sure. But I do not sleep on Air Force.
No, that's fair.
Don't sleep on Air Force. Air Force could legitimately win this conference this year. I think they're going to be that good. But overall, I think Boise State makes a comeback this year.
Utah State finished after their bowl win as well. Finished 11-3 last year.
That's good.
And looking at their schedule, the only loss is a very obvious one: Week 2 versus Alabama. So there you go. That was my one loss for Utah State.
I'll root for Blake Anderson. He is such a good guy. And I think the only reason he left Arkansas State was because of his wife. His wife passing away. It was just one of those situations where he's like, there's too many memories. Because, like I said, he came.
They're from Jonesboro, aren't they?
I think so. I'm
pretty sure.
Because he was, because if I'm not mistaken, he was an assistant at North Carolina before he went to Arkansas State. And so, but I believe they're from, I think his wife, I can't remember if it was him or his wife or someone's from Jonesboro, but I root for that man, and I wish him all the best. I hope you're right. I really hope he wins. I really hope he does win. I hope he has success. I would love to see him go to a Power 5 school.
Oh, that'd be awesome.
Yeah, I think as an Arkansas fan, I'm going to have to say BYU because that's only going to help us as a team. but I will agree. I kind of was on the back end of Utah State last year. I didn't really pay attention to them much. You know, when I did tune in, they were getting blown out by some team. I was like, well, that's unfortunate for Blake, you know, because I do want him to do well. So I would definitely, my top two, my favorite is going to have to be BYU. I'll go safe pick there, but I do have to say that Utah State will be like my personal pick because I just want to see him succeed. So
Right, and that's good.
Sun Belt,
Appalachian State.
same. App State, 10-2. That's what I've got them going. App State in the Sun Belt. Sun Belt's going to be nasty this year, I think. It was close to Coastal though. You know,
Shane,
you're thinking
giving
Coastal,
us,
aren't you?
You're giving us a stare.
Yeah.
No, he's not thinking Coastal. He's thinking of someone else. I can see it. He's gonna pull the trigger.
Oh, here we go.
Red Wolves, baby.
Oh, come on.
Coming back. They're coming back. Watch out. Watch out, boys.
No chance.
Oh man.
Well, what do you have Red Wolves going? It's your second team.
I've got to look at the schedule. I haven't seen their schedule yet.
Okay.
I'll just be honest. I haven't seen their schedule yet.
Okay.
From what I remember,
Let me look at their schedule real quick while Shane talks.
From what I remember, it's pretty brutal. Pretty brutal.
I like App State. I like App State quite a bit. For App State, I see a loss week 2 versus Texas A&M, regardless of whether we think they're overrated or not.
Go Appalachian Sate.
I mean, yeah, go Appalachian State, but I don't see them beating Texas A&M
holy
at
God.
Texas A&M. And then the other loss.
But if they do, I will. Oh boy, I will love it.
All right, so here's Arkansas State's schedule. They
Oh,
have
here we go.
Grambling State in week 1. That's going to be a win. They lose to Grambling State, the season's over. Even though they're going to get blown away in week 2, I'm so rooting for them to beat Ohio State in week 2. Memphis, they're at Memphis, could be a loss. At Old Dominion, you never know with Old Dominion. Let's see here. I could legitimately see them beating Louisiana Monroe, maybe James Madison. Southern Miss is on the road. You never know with them. Louisiana's on the road. You never know with the Raging Cajuns. South Alabama's at home, but South Alabama, you never know with them. So, I mean, yeah, I could see them pulling off 4 or 5. I don't know about a conference victory. I don't know about a conference championship, though.
High hopes and dreams, baby.
That is a lot of high hopes and dreams.
Maybe next year. We'll see how next year goes. There's always next year, just like the Texas fan told me last year, sitting in the stand in Arkansas, beating the crap out of Texas. That was awesome.
Okay, ACC. This one was probably my hardest one to do. Naturally, because number one, my favorite team is in there. We got a lot of changes on my favorite team, a lot of promise for my favorite team, and plus there were some other factors that played into it. ACC was the last one that I did out of all 10 of these conferences. How are you guys feeling about it before I jump into mine?
I would like to go first.
Okay.
Go right ahead.
North Carolina. I'm being like, is that not a serious like acquisition that can be
I just
hindered
questioned
here?
I don't even know off the top of my head who's the starting quarterback with Sam.
Yeah, that's the thing. Sam's
now,
gone.
You gotta keep in mind, Shane does bring up a good point in there because you can't count Mac out.
You can't. Yeah, you definitely can't count him out.
Can't count Mac
definitely
out.
can't count Mac out. I love
And
Mac
honestly,
Brown.
if it's not North Carolina, I do have to go with Miami, to be honest.
So here's the reason I wouldn't pick Miami. I'm not a big fan of first-year head coaches. I'm just not.
That's fair.
Because here's the thing.
Well, first year in a new environment.
Right.
Yeah.
Miami has been in a cluster for a while, even though they have. Okay,
Yeah.
so here's something that's fair. Okay, so my counterpart Brad, as some people know him as Forrest, sent me something just the other day of they did a survey. I think it was like 1,000 high school athletes or something like that of legitimate programs, and Miami was not even on there. And I don't think people need this generation of players, of fans. They need to realize how much history Miami has in college football.
Yep.
Just over 20 years ago, Miami and Florida State ruled college football. They ruled college football. They are today's Alabama, Ohio State, Georgia.
Yep.
They were legitimately that. 1 and 2 punch.
I mean, they
every
have
single year.
I mean, Miami literally had arguably the best team ever in college football, in my opinion.
Oh yeah, 2001. Yeah.
Yes.
Let me ask you guys a question. Who's the big brother in Florida? Is it Miami?
No.
No, I still think it's Florida.
You guys are both wrong.
I still think it's Florida too.
You guys are both wrong.
No, think about it. Okay, so Florida. Okay, so
Records and championships is enough.
Hang on though.
Nick, I hope
Right
you're not
now-
listening. Fuck both these guys. They're wrong.
Hang on.
Florida's the little brother.
Hang on. Florida before last year was still competing for the SEC championship. Miami has not competed for the ACC championship in quite a while. They have underachieved every single year. I'm gonna tell you. So I have my stepfather's best friend. We do a college football pool every year. We put like $20-25 in every single year. And we pick 10 games every single week. I have lost more Miami games than any team that's out there because sometimes I'll pick them to win and then they lose. Then I pick them to lose and then they blow the other team out. So I'm just saying Miami has been so inconsistent that it's not even funny. Florida, on the other hand, even before Dan Mullen, when they had that little struggle, they competed for SEC championships very, very quickly. They rebounded quickly. And I still think they're going to rebound quick. Not this year, maybe next year, the year after. But they're going to rebound quicker than Miami, even with Mario Cristobal as their head coach.
I would definitely disagree to the last part, but I also just want to say,
Florida, it's the University of Florida.
Hold on. I just want to say.
They're in the SEC.
I just want to say this.
The best conference in the entire country.
Let me point
and
this
the
out.
ACC is legitimately going to disappear.
Miami has more championships than both Florida State and Florida.
I agree with that.
Miami also has a better all-time record.
When's the last time Miami won a championship? Exactly.
2001.
Florida's won 2 since then. So no. I disagree.
I'm just saying, records and championships. You have to combine Florida State and Florida's championships together to even beat ours.
I agree, but I'm telling you that's yesterday's. I'm telling Florida has won 2 since then.
Well, I'm still talking historic here.
Historically, yes. But we're not talking historic. If you're talking historics, then yes, I agree. With you.
That's what I've been talking about since the get-go.
Okay, no, hang on. But here's the thing that I'm saying. Today's players don't see Miami as a legitimate power program. They do, however, see the University of Florida as a power program. I'm just saying.
Yeah, and it comes down because it is a SEC.
Right.
Yeah. No, I agree to that.
And because of the recent success. You have to look at the recent success in the last 20 years. That's basically what you have to look at with this younger generation. Because Miami was past 20 years ago.
Actually, it was right at 21. Because they won in 2001.
And we went back in 2002.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's right. Yeah, because LSU won in 2003. They beat Oklahoma.
In 2002, we should have won up front.
I will give you that much. Yeah, they should have won in 2002. But either way,
yeah,
we're talking about 17, 18-year-old kids. They don't know that.
But,
they don't know how legit Miami is.
I mean, when it comes down to it, when I think of teams in Florida, to me, it always comes down to Florida or Miami. I've always been a bigger fan of Miami than Florida because of Florida being in the SEC and how Arkansas and Florida always clashed. I've always enjoyed watching Miami, especially back in 2001, 2002, 2003. I loved watching Miami play. They were so exciting to watch. That defense was, I thought, using Alabama's defense was good a couple of years ago when they were just rooted down to defense and running the ball. I don't care what you do. Put them against that 2001 defense, 2002 defense, not even going to stand a chance.
I'm sorry, I misspoke. Miami is in that deal, but still, the recent success. No, I still would put Florida.
Okay.
I mean,
as the daddy. Now, if Mario Cristobal does turn it around, like if he legitimately turns it around and we start seeing old Miami, then yes, I would consider it. But like right now, today, it's still Florida.
I mean, with the team that has a better chance of rebounding is always going to be the team in the SEC because they're always going to have more resources. More money to be put in, more things like that. So, of course, Florida is going to have a better chance of rebounding than a team like Miami. But you can very well see in the next, 3 years when the ACC pretty much is disintegrated that it's not going to matter anyway because Miami is going to be right in there with them.
Yeah, they'll probably will be an SEC team.
Could be.
Yeah. ACC predictions, though. Back to that.
Who'd you say?
I said either North Carolina or Miami.
I want to say Clemson, just for the simple fact is they had a down year last year, and usually guys like Dabo Swinney, who has had legitimate success in the last few years, last year was his down year. I could see a huge rebound year this year because I don't think the ACC is as strong. But North Carolina State, I really like North Carolina State.
They didn't lose much. They only lost to Keem.
I like North Carolina State.
Yep.
I really legitimately like North Carolina State. Wake Forest lost too much.
They still got a lot of pieces. Because, I mean, the main thing is they still got Hartman.
They're projected to be last.
Actually,
in their division anyway. I don't know about the entire
I actually
ACC.
horribly disagree with that.
And so North Carolina, I think North Carolina lost a little too much, but I wouldn't count Mac out like I said. But I've got North Carolina State.
Okay. For me, and this is why it was so tough, is because like there were so many teams I was looking at. I actually do have Miami winning the ACC, and I have them winning with a 10-2. So what I project happening, and this is why I violently disagree, I actually think Wake is going to win the Atlantic, and over Clemson. I have Clemson going 10-2 and Wake 11-1.
You got Wake winning the division?
Yep. And so the conference, the championship would be Miami and Wake with Miami.
What's
winning.
the over? I need to see the over under on that crap.
I'll pull it up for you. But I mean,
Wake
Wake did not lose as much as you think, because like the main thing is they got Hartman back as well as a lot of his weapons. Like they didn't lose as much as you think.
I mean, that's why he's
Wake was very good last year.
Very good.
I mean, Pitt's the one that came out on top because of obviously Kenny Pickett and Jordan Addison. Both them are gone. Pitt's an afterthought. I don't give it. Pitt's gonna be terrible.
Yeah,
but
Pitt's
I mean,
bad.
I think Clemson's gonna have a bounce back year with like a 10-2 record. But I still, if DJ is the starter all year, I don't think Clemson's gonna win the ACC.
So let's see here. I'm gonna look at Miami's schedule real quick.
While he's doing that, it goes on the next one.
Let's see here. Bethune-Cookman, go Bethune-Cookman. I'm kidding. They're going to beat the crap out of Bethune-Cookman. I always root for Bethune-Cookman just because I like the name. It's like UAPB. I always root for UAPB because, whenever I sold for Pepsi, UAPB was one of my stops. I love UAPB.
So my two losses that I project for Miami, and one of those I honestly, both my losses could still be wins, is Texas A&M and Clemson. I do think we were going to lose to Clemson. But those are my only two losses that I have for the whole schedule, and those both could be wins.
Florida State could be a trap game, even though it's
always potentially a trap game, but I think we got them this year.
I'm going to go ahead and throw another one out there for you that I think could be a potential trap game.
Is it Virginia?
At Virginia.
Virginia, yeah, that's one that I looked at a lot.
So
they didn't lose a lot either, but they were also horribly average last year. See, they were one of those squads where it's like, damn, you got so many good pieces, but it's just like, damn, you win 6-6.
Exactly. That's just
that's 100%
how
a
the
trap.
tables have turned in the ACC.
No, that's 100% a trap game for us. I agree, but like I said, as of now, I've got us locked in for a 10-2.
10-2. I could see 10-2.
Yep.
I could also see 6-4. I'm sorry. I could see 6-6.
That's also I could see that.
I'm just being honest. I could see 6-6 just as easy as I can 10-2.
Yep.
I'll go ahead and throw this one out there. I could see 11-1.
Yeah, because honestly, I don't think Texas A&M.
I don't think Texas A&M's that good. I'm just going to be honest.
I think I debated that game very, very hard.
I know that Texas A&M, and I know we haven't got to the SEC yet, but I know Texas A&M had the number one recruiting in the nation.
Yep.
I understand that. Jimbo Fisher, I don't think he's won more than 8 games since being at Texas A&M in a single season.
I don't think Texas A&M has won more than 8 games since they've been in the SEC.
Yeah, and so, well, though, I think they had one. I think it was Kevin Sumlin's second season when he had Johnny Manziel. I think they won 9 or 10.
Yeah, it was like 10 games.
And
that was
then,
the only time.
but then that was the only time because Johnny Manziel's last year wasn't that great. But I
said this in my first or second episode of being on the show. I was like, Texas A&M sure does spend a lot of money to go 7-5.
Yeah, I just Texas A&M, and I think. Legitimately, if Jimbo Fisher doesn't get it done, Texas A&M, I don't know if y'all know, but Texas A&M is the richest school in the nation. They will get rid of him.
By far.
They will get rid of him and they will buy out his contract, and they will get rid of him.
Because he's got 5-6 years left in his 10-year contract?
And then they'll get the true GOAT of Texas and get Chad Morris. who just got back up into college ranks. Chad Morris, future Texas A&M head coach. Here we go.
There you go.
What about Big Ten? I feel like this one's pretty straightforward. I looked at it very extensively across the board. There could be a few trap games, as there always is, but I have Ohio State going 12-0. I mean, I just do. I know people are going to say, "Oh, I mean, they lost Garrett Wilson, Chris Olave." Yeah, they did. But you look at the stats, and those weren't even the number one weapons. It was Jackson.
Yep.
Jackson Smith, whatever the other part of his last name is. I don't know.
I'm going to let you in. Of course, I think I've already told you this. I hate Ohio State as much as you do Florida State.
I know. Fuck Florida State. By the way.
I can't stand Ryan Day. I can't stand anyone from Ohio State. I just can't. I can't stand Ohio State fans. Ohio State fans are worse than my Cowboy fans, okay? They are so much worse. No, it is saying something. Because here's the thing. They expect to win every single year, and when they don't, it's always someone else's fault.
That's true.
Always someone else's fault when they lose.
That's Dallas fans to a T.
Not me though.
I know.
I am a true Cowboy fan through and through. I am a diehard Razorback fan.
There's always next year.
There's always always
but
next year.
I will tell you that as a legitimate Cowboy fan here, and I know people that are Cowboy fans like myself who have the same exact deal as me. We lose because what will happen or does happen. Just saying.
Okay. Ohio State winning the conference though.
Yes, by far. There's Michigan
lost to way too much.
I think Michigan lost way too much offensively. Defensively, I think Michigan's going to be fine. But as far as like going like a full 60-minute game,
well, it's going to be next man.
State.
It's going to be next man up because they lost their two main pass rushers with Aiden and David Ajobu.
Right.
So it's going to be next man up for them. And when it comes to Michigan State, I still think that Michigan State's going to be very good under Mel Tucker. I feel like they got a lot of pieces. But look, man, Kenneth Walker was their lifeblood on offense, and losing him to the draft, I mean, that's gonna hurt them quite a bit.
That of course, Michigan State's been a little inconsistent.
I mean, you kind of saw it, right? I mean, literally a week after Mel Tucker signed that giant extension.
Oh, yeah, it went downhill.
Kenneth Walker really didn't do much that next game, and they got blown out.
Yep.
Yeah.
And I rode with Michigan State almost all year last year because it started after they beat the shit out of us. They beat the shit out of Miami like week 1, week 2, and I'm like, I watched that game like, damn, these guys are actually pretty good. I rode with them for a while in my college picks, but after that contract, it all went downhill. But yeah, Ohio State 12-0. That one's easy. I feel like
that's the easiest one.
Big 12. How are we guys feeling on this one? Last year, the conference championship was Oklahoma State and Baylor, with Baylor coming on top. I still have Baylor winning this one again. I love Dave Arnott, I think is his name.
Dave Arnott, yep.
I got Baylor going 11-1. Man, I love this.
Who's
Baylor.
your one loss?
Let me pull up the record again.
Yeah, I'm gonna pull it up too while you're at it.
Yeah, Baylor is who I've got. Oklahoma State is another one that I really toyed with. And honestly, look, man, I think Oklahoma could shock some people. I know it's like you lost Lincoln, like you don't have,
They also lost their quarterback.
I know you don't have the superstar of Caleb Williams, but like, look, I'm telling you guys, Dylan Gabriel's a lot better than
both of their quarterbacks.
That's true. Shout out to Malak also committing with UCF. But look, Dylan Gabriel's a lot better than people are realizing. I mean, I love Dylan Gabriel from UCF.
I do too.
I don't know.
I think he's a great talent. I think he'll fit in. He'll be a great bridge quarterback for whoever they bring in next. I think Oklahoma has a chance. You can't sit there and say they don't have a chance, because they will. But I think when it comes down to it, it is going to be Baylor and or Oklahoma State. But as just a fan perspective of who I would like to see on there, I'd love to see TCU in there.
Oh, TCU would be awesome.
TCU would be. I've also got Baylor. I have them going undefeated.
Really? Okay.
Yes.
I mean, the schedule is possible for them to get undefeated. The one loss that I had for them, and I had it as like kind of like a trap game sort of situation, was Oklahoma, at Oklahoma.
I don't think Oklahoma is going to be a big threat this year at all. I
don't think they're going to be a big threat. I'm just saying they could shock some people.
The only reason why I think they are going to be a big threat is because of Brent Venables. He's going to bring a defense to the Big 12 that no one is used to playing against. No one. They don't play defense in the Big 12. But guess who is going to play defense? Oklahoma.
Right. But here, just like I said earlier, I'm not the biggest fan of first-year coaches coming in and automatically winning, because you don't see it very often. You just don't. You do see it in the NFL sometimes. But, I mean, in college football, not as much, especially in Power 5.
Oh, for sure. One man can hope, right?
Yeah. So you're hoping for TCU? Yeah,
I'm hoping for TCU.
Or do you just think it's going to be Baylor or Oklahoma State?
But I think it is going to be Baylor or Oklahoma State.
Okay. Pac-12.
I've got Oregon.
That's a good pick.
I also have Oregon.
I actually have Utah.
I like the Utah pick.
11-1.
I debated between Oregon and Utah.
Yeah, me too. That's what it came down to, was those two.
Oh man, I literally, and of course Tyler, swears up and down USC is going to be this whole legitimate.
I think they will in a couple years. It's not going to be a
I think
year
they will
one.
next year.
I think it'll be next year. I don't think it's going to be this
Right.
year. They're going to be good this year. I mean, my one loss for Utah is going to be from USC. But I still think Utah's going to end up coming out because I don't have Oregon going undefeated. So I mean, they're just going to meet in the title game again, and I think Utah's going to get Oregon again.
I could legitimately see Utah winning it too. I went back and forth, and I said, okay, heads or tails.
I think fair. I think this year it's fair to pick Oregon and Utah. Next year is when it's like USC is going to be potentially the pick there.
Yeah,
Arizona State.
Hey, they could shock some people. They're not going to win anything, but. All right, and lastly, SEC. Look,
1, 2, 3, Alabama.
Yeah, Alabama.
Yeah, so
12-0.
Y'all want to know?
I looked at it a lot.
So here is a little bit of interesting news. They sent this out after it happened. Vanderbilt got one pick to win the SEC.
Really?
And I guarantee you it was the Vanderbilt. The Vanderbilt head coach had to have voted for himself. If you look, all right. So the opening statement, they did it like the word list of how many words that each coach had for like the opening statement before the questions came along, and I believe Vanderbilt's head coach had the most, and it was by far. And then of course, no surprise, the one who had the least was surprise, Mike Leach. So
Thank God.
now I will go ahead and tell you this much. I do have a couple sleepers this year. Tennessee is my sleeper in the East.
That's fair.
Mine too.
I really like Tennessee. I really like what they've done there, with the culture they've built there and everything like that. I could legitimately see Tennessee overtake Georgia this year for the East. I could legitimately see it. I know some people are high on Georgia. Georgia lost 15 to the draft.
Yep.
They don't have that defensive front that they had last year. And I understand that they've recruited well. I will give them that much. But experience.
They're not Alabama yet.
Experience outdoes everything. I think last year was Kirby Smart's one legit year. Of course, he's had some good legit years, but last year he finally came over the top, and now he's not known as that coach who could get there and couldn't win a title. And I'm proud for that. I really like Kirby Smart. I think he's a great coach. But I don't see Georgia winning the East this year. I just don't see it. I can potentially see Georgia having the down year Clemson had last year. I legitimately see that, even with Stetson behind center.
Which is crazy because what in the world is JT Daniels doing?
Exactly. It's like it, but I don't know. Maybe it's just a loyalty thing. I don't know.
And honestly, you bring up Tennessee as kind of a team that you can see winning the East. But you're forgetting who finished, second in the East last year?
Kentucky?
Mm-hmm.
Like, they didn't lose much.
Honestly, I want to say this. I was all in on Kentucky going into this year. I was all in on Will Levis. But at this point, I hope Kentucky loses every single game and by a massive blowout, because Will Levis is one of the sickest motherfuckers.
Mayonnaise and coffee.
He puts mayonnaise in coffee. And because of that, I am all out on the Kentucky Wildcats.
I saw that on Twitter.
I hope they lose every fucking game.
Let me get this straight.
Yes, he takes a scoop of mayonnaise with a spoon.
No. I get that part. You're legitimately rooting for this dude because all he does is put mayonnaise in his coffee. Don't get me wrong, that is disgusting. Okay?
I'm rooting against him.
It is disgusting.
He's not a normal human.
He's an alien.
He is an alien.
So I'll go ahead and throw this out there. Do y'all see any conference wins for Vanderbilt this year?
Absolutely not.
No,
zero. No.
So I had a bold prediction at the end of last season. Me and Brad did both predictions. I've got 2 conference wins for Vanderbilt this year. 2.
Who?
Don't know yet.
No, you're just yeeting it out there.
I am.
Okay,
I'm just getting it out there. I root for Vanderbilt. Vanderbilt makes me feel like I am a good boss at work.
I saw a Vanderbilt fan not very long ago. Like, he was even wearing like the new merch.
There's no Vanderbilt fans out there.
Dude, that's what I said, and Tyler's just like, no shot. Just like, I was like, I swear he had the new logo hat.
It would not surprise. Now, you've seen the movie Division III Football's Finest.
Mm-hmm.
It would not surprise me if there's people on campus that don't know Vanderbilt has a football team.
I still think it's funny when you listen to it's been in a couple interviews. Jay Cutler talk about his recruiting process, and Vanderbilt hit him up. He's just like, what the hell is Vanderbilt? Where is Vanderbilt? He didn't even know what it was.
So we both have Alabama. We all three pretty much have Alabama.
Yeah, 12-0,
right?
12-0.
I don't know you're not much of an Arkansas fan.
11-1.
Shut up. It's Arkansas. It's what he shut up.
Only one can hope.
Only one can hope. That's true.
So where do you realistically have Arkansas being right now? I know right now we're in this area as Arkansas fans that we usually get to around this time where all the hype is building up and we're like, oh, we can win it all. But realistically, from a non-biased outside looking in,
sky's the limit for the Razorbacks this year.
I agree.
I think this is going to be the best team we've had since Petrino's last year. Alabama, to me, is the only legitimate team on the schedule that I'm like, I could see us beating them, but realistically, I also see us losing that game. One thing we also have to remember is KJ Jefferson. If he stays healthy, we're going to be okay. If he doesn't stay healthy, we're screwed.
I agree.
Like completely screwed. Offensively, we have a ton of depth offensively.
Ton.
Defensively, I don't know how much depth we have defensively.
The only position I'm worried about defensively is linebackers.
Now, I'm not because like I said, they have Bumper Pools coming back, and we also had that transfer from Alabama, Drew Sanders, which I think Drew Sanders, he was a 5-star athlete coming out.
That's 2 of 6.
That's very true. I understand that. But if you think last year, we had 3 good linebackers, and look what we did. I mean, this year we know we're going to have at least 2. Let's see what these younger players coming up can do. My biggest is the defensive line. Defensive line is where it's really going to be.
I
for the
think our
Razorbacks.
transfers have solidified me to be okay. We may not be as good up front as last year, but they've got me to where I'm not worried about it. If I am worried about it, it's in the middle. It's the tackle position.
I can understand that, but if I were to solidify this, it's sky's the limit for the Razorbacks. I could see 10-2. I could see 11-1. I could see 9-3. I could see another 8-4 season. It's like where's it going to give? Cincinnati, like I said before,
you guys are beating Cincy.
We're beating Cincinnati. I don't think I would be shocked if we lose to Cincinnati in week 1.
The state of Arkansas will burn down.
If we lose to Cincinnati in week 1, I will go off worse than what I did on Deshaun Watson earlier in the game. I will go off. Let's see here. Missouri State, cupcake. That's going to be a cupcake.
Even though it's going to be interesting with Bobby Petrino coming back.
Man, I'm going to tell you right now.
It's going to be so fun to watch.
The Razorback fans are going to give him the biggest standing ovation, and you know.
I would almost wish they would do College Game Day on that game just so we can see the signs that would be created.
Right. And so BYU could be a trap game because it's at BYU, and I hate the Mormons in Utah. It's like South Carolina. I
think that's the trickiest game.
I think it can be, but I don't think they're going to have enough defensively to stop us. That's where I think Arkansas is going to be able to pull it off.
Yeah, they did finish second to last in the
I
SEC
will go ahead and I will say this much because I also have another sleeper that's in the West this year, Mississippi State. Mississippi State's going to be legit offensive this year. They're going, of course, the reason I don't trust Mississippi State as much as I would say Tennessee is because I know Mike Leach is an offensive guy. He's not a defensive guy at all. He's just not. I cannot think of one good team that he's had where I could say, oh my gosh, his defense is absolutely terrific.
Or, oh my God, they finished in the top 75 in defense.
But here's the thing though. So Arkansas is going to be on the road. Of course, Texas A&M, they're going to play in Arlington.
I think our schedule actually, even though it is a tough schedule, I think our schedule actually helps us with us having 7 home games this year.
I could legitimately see us go 7-0 after the Alabama game. I could see it happening.
I agree.
At Mississippi State and at BYU are going to be 2 tough games. I do believe that because BYU is going to, anytime you play an SEC school, most of the time those non-conference group of 5 who they're going to have something to prove. Because if you look at BYU, they've been nationally ranked in the last couple of years and hardly anything to show for it. So they're going to find a way to make sure that they can legitimately show, hey, we belong in this top tier group of college football. So I could honestly see that. Auburn's going to be the worst team in the West by far. I don't see Auburn being.
I think honestly it's a toss up between them and LSU.
Our last 4 games is Liberty, LSU, Ole Miss at home. That's 3-0, and then at Missouri. Of course, you never know with at Missouri because sometimes we lay an egg when we play Missouri. So I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to
rivalry.
Tell me about it. Goodness gracious. Like I said, I'm going to say 10-2. I could see 11-1. But realistically, I'm going to say 9-3. I'm going to say Alabama's a loss. I'm going to say at BYU's a loss. Right now. Give me a few weeks in. Let me look how they looked offensively and defensively. Like offensively, I know we're going to be fine, but defensively, can we push the offensive line?
I think if we come out and beat Cincinnati and hold them to 10 points, and then shut out Missouri State, coming into that Texas A&M game, look really good against them, beat them by, hold them under 14 points. I think at that point I'd be comfortable in saying, okay, BYU is a very good chance of winning. That's
what I want to see.
Exactly.
But I also know that BYU has brought it the last couple of years as well. And it's definitely not going to be a laydown game. It's on the road and it's at BYU. And I don't like I said, the Mormons of Utah are mean. They are vicious people.
I mean, and last time we played a team like this was, it was like a weird Colorado State. We went to Colorado State and got beat. So,
but we were horrible.
I know, but still.
I'll jump in and say this. I'm not an Arkansas fan at all, not in the slightest. I actually think it's funny when you guys lose. Sorry, I know you're a major diehard. I know you've come to accept me for who I am. Thank you. But I will say this.
I hope Florida State goes undefeated now.
You guys are going to beat BYU. I think BYU is so horribly overrated. I think they were overrated when they had their consensus, top draft pick with Zach Wilson. They got up to like number 10 in the nation and then just got fucking just smacked by, I think it was Coastal Carolina. BYU, even still right now, in my opinion, is so horribly overrated. I think you guys will get that dub up front, 100%. The only I'm not going to sit here and say that you guys are going to go 11-1. It wouldn't necessarily shock me because I as an outsider looking in, I do acknowledge the sky's the limit. But the only loss on your schedule where I'm like, that's a loss is Bama. Every other game, it's just like, there are those few where it's like, yeah, that's a win. Yeah, that's a win. That's a win. Then there's like an A&M where it's like, that should be a win, but who knows? There are those few where it's like, should be a win. Who knows? Could be a loss. Who knows? But BYU, to me, that's a win. BYU is just overrated.
One thing that legitimately pisses me off, last year, toward the end of the year, you had all these announcers from CBS, ESPN, who are like, KJ Jefferson's going to be one of the top-tier Heisman. I could see him as a potential Heisman threat next year. And not a single one has put him in the preseason Heisman list. He's nowhere to be found.
Nowhere. And I think he's still like... I think he's still like fourth. They rated him fourth best quarterback in the SEC.
Fourth best quarterback in the SEC, which last year, if you look at the quarterback rating, that's where he was last year.
Who's ahead of him besides Bryce and Will?
Herndon Hooker from Tennessee.
Oh, okay, right. Because I was going to say no shot.
Herndon Hooker, I think, was the top as far as QBR goes. I think Herndon Hooker was at top last year.
Okay. I was gonna say there's no shot they put Rattler.
No, Rattler.
He's probably like
freaking
Rattler is fifth.
Oh, Doyle Rules. That's what he looks. He looks like an ugly kid from a Doyle Rules.
I will say this. I think South Carolina. I think Spencer is very overrated as well. I think South Carolina is going to be an average team, but I think they're going to be an average team who could be a trap game for teams. I'm just going to go because I love their head coach. I know it's Beamer, but I forgot the
Will Beamer. I think it's
Shane Beamer.
Shane Beamer. Because the dad's Frank, of course. I just couldn't remember this guy's first name, but I love Shane Beamer as a head coach. I love him at South Carolina. I think that South Carolina could be a trap game for teams, but I think South Carolina's going to be average.
I agree. And this is what will determine my season. I'm not even. Yes, in my opinion, BYU could be a trap game because it's a away game.
It could be a trap game. I'm still locking it a win.
Because I agree. I'm not too worried about those Cincinnati and BYU determining our season. The 3 games determining our season is, in my opinion, going to be South Carolina, Texas A&M, and Mississippi State. Those 3 teams are going to determine our season. Because, in my opinion, right now, even as a fan, I'm putting Alabama as a loss. That's just a safe bet.
Yep.
But those 3 games will determine if we go 11-1 or 8-4.
Okay.
Because if we turn around and lose all 3 of those games and to Bama, you got an 8-4 season.
Let's see. South Carolina travels to Florida. They're at home against Tennessee. Of course, they play Clemson. That's their rival at the end of the year. They travel to Vanderbilt. Go
and
Vanderbilt.
Keep in mind, Clemson beat South Carolina 30-0 last year.
They travel on the road to Kentucky. They are at home against Texas A&M. They're at home against Mizzou. This is not in order, by the way. I'm just kind of scattering.
Yeah, you're good.
Let's see if we went. Let's see, Georgia State, guys. I'm trying to remember was it Georgia State that was, or am I thinking of someone else that was legit last year in the Sun Belt?
It probably was Georgia State.
I'd say yeah. So
It might have been. Was it Georgia State or Georga Southern?
So I get those two confused.
It's one of the two. I don't know.
They're at Arkansas week 2. Then they play Georgia at home. So that, like I said, we'll see. Then they have Charlotte at home. I got South Carolina State at home. So, I mean, who knows? Who knows what they'll do? 6-6, 5-7.
Yeah, see, I'm thinking like a 6-6 for South Carolina. But that 6-6, again, could be a trap game for teams.
Right.
Yeah. Okay. What about just kind of throw it out there? We don't have to dive super deep into this. Who is your way too early playoff 4? Alabama 1, Ohio State 2 for me. 3, I actually have Baylor. It's that 4th spot that I couldn't decide.
I have Baylor as well.
I do too.
That 4th spot I could not figure out for the life of me. Alabama, I think, will be number 1 team in the nation.
It would have to be. I would think it would have to be an SEC team, right? That
was my first instinct.
That unless one of the Pac-12 teams go undefeated.
Utah State at 11-1 was my other thought. If assuming like let's say
State,
but not Utah State, Utah. Sorry.
If Utah goes in 11-1, can you say that they're better than an 11-1 SEC runner-up?
Well, it depends on who the loss is too. Like if it's USC and USC has a crappy year, then no. To me, it always depends on who your loss is.
Oh, of course.
I mean, and that's just where it comes down to.
I think that 4th spot, it could be Utah if they do really well.
I think
or
it'll come
Oregon.
down. I think it'll come down to the Pac-12 champion. I think they almost have, unless they lose to each other. So like last year, like Oregon lost to Utah and then Utah beat Oregon, whatever it may be. Unless that scenario happens, I think it's either going to have to be an undefeated Pac-12 team or it's going to be a runner-up from the SEC.
Right, yeah, because I don't think because you could almost make the same argument for the Big Ten.
Yeah.
But I think Ohio State. I think it's Ohio State. Then it's everybody else in the Big Ten. I
think this year, yes.
This
100%.
year is just not the year to have 2 in the Big Ten.
No.
If it's going to be 2, yeah, I agree. It's definitely going to be in the SEC. And right now, who can go 11-1 in the SEC right now that we can legitimately today say, yeah, we could legitimately.
I mean, it would be easy to say, oh yeah, it can be, Alabama, Baylor, Georgia, and whoever else. But that'd be the easy thing to go. But realistically, I don't think we're gonna know that 4th spot until we get to at least 4 or 5 games into the season.
Right.
But I mean, I would like to think it was Oregon because I have them going undefeated in the Pac-12. I would have to pick a Pac-12 champion undefeated over a runner-up.
I also picked Oregon. If they go undefeated, I could see that. The Pac-12 is not, and even since the college football playoff started, Oregon has not had, the Pac-12 has not had, I think they've had 2 teams in the entire time. Washington was the first one. They got spanked.
No, Oregon was the first one.
Was Oregon the first one? I thought it was Washington.
It was Marcus Mariota.
Oh, okay. For some reason, I thought it was Washington. I know Washington was another one. They both got spanked. But if Utah or Oregon, if they go undefeated, I could legitimately see them being the 4th team.
I think if either one of them goes undefeated, they have to be in there. They have to be that 4th team or a 3rd team or whatever it may be. Only way that a runner-up from the SEC gets a chance is if they either lose to each other or have another loss along the way.
Here's something else. We're also betting that they're going to be 4 undefeated teams. We haven't had that yet.
True.
We have yet to have 4 undefeated teams in the top 4.
True.
So let's just say this. What if Baylor loses one and then you have someone like Miami or Clemson that also has one loss?
Mm-hmm.
And that's where the debate goes. And this is why people want,
that's when we have
myself included.
Also, you need to keep in mind one team that I just now remembered because I despise them so much. Notre Dame's going to probably be in that conversation.
Notre Dame.
Being an independent, I always forget about them, honestly.
Notre Dame.
So overrated.
I'm just going to go ahead and say this much. I think Brian Kelly saw the writing on the wall.
I think he did too.
I think he saw the writing on the wall. Notre Dame is one, I would say, of the top 5 academic schools as far as academic restrictions go in the entire country.
Yeah, it's like them and Vandy, pretty much.
Vanderbilt, Stanford,
Notre Dame,
SMU, because SMU's academics. Yeah, they have a very high restriction with their academics.
Northwestern's pretty high up there.
Northwestern's high up there.
Yeah. They have such an awesome facility. I don't know if you guys have seen them in pictures or anything.
They're
awesome.
It's beautiful. It's awesome. Purdue's tough.
Yeah.
So yeah, you could legitimately say, like, he saw the writing on the wall. A lot of them do not consistently stay good because of that reason. It's the same reason I root for Harvard in the NCAA tournament for basketball. It's the same reason. I root for Harvard, Yale, whoever comes out of the Ivy League.
But yeah, I think we're all ready for the season, ready to see what kind of shit unfolds as far as.
Hey, like I said, season starts right now, boys. We got football in 2 days.
Beautiful.
It's gonna be shitty football, but hey, it's still football. We got it.
I'm just glad my Cowboys aren't in the Hall of Fame game this year. I'm so sick of playing in the Hall of Fame game.
At least I'll get to watch the Jaguars with no Trevor Lawrence.
Hey, we get to see 2 Razorback players show up.
Yeah.
So. Monteric Brown and Drew Morgan for the Jaguars.
Right. You know what's something else that's weird about college football this year? Y'all know Northwestern's first game's against Nebraska and Ireland?
I did see that, yeah.
Why wouldn't you put Notre Dame in that game or something like that? I mean, come on.
Yeah. No, I did see that. I thought that was wild.
That's something else. Scott Frost there at Nebraska. Ooh.
Yeah. No, we're just a few weeks away from all football really kicking off. College football, pro football right there at the beginning of September. We'll be doing weekly predictions every single week, just like we did last year. See who can come out on top. I got the dub last year. If we broke down like percent, I'd have to go back and look at the records. I don't know where we would fall if we broke down percentages since you came in late. I'd have to go look at it. I just know in terms of obviously sheer record, I beat Tyler, and that's what mostly mattered since he was here all the entire time. So you get a pass, obviously. But yeah, we'll be doing predictions. A terrible game of the week. We'll be coming back. Shout out to that. Terrible game of the week. Still be doing FBS game of the week, FCS game of the week, and then we'll be predicting every single NFL game. Have our fantasy league, and and I'll at least do some betting. I can't speak for everyone in here, but I'll be doing some betting. Probably every single week I will bet. And we'll see how it goes.
May not be every week for me, but I'll definitely be doing some.
As long as there are games that I like, I will be betting every single week. I'm not trying to like bet 17 games here, but I will bet every single week if there's some lines that I really like. Because I feel like I'm pretty solid at predicting the NFL. College, I'm always hit or miss. NFL, I've always been pretty on top of predicting because, like, back in the day when my mom was still around, she used to have an NFL predicting thing just like we do, and she ran it for about like 7 years, and I won like 5 out of those years by a pretty decent landslide. So I feel like I could bet on some NFL games. We'll see how it goes, though. We'll see how it goes. But yeah, some football this week. It'll be bad football, but it's still football. We're back. We're here. Before I hit the music and we really work our way out of here, boys, do you have any last thoughts on anything that we chat about here today? Or anything you want to throw out there?
I think I'm good. I think my rant, just kind of...
It did it for you.
I think it did it for me.
It was a nice rant. I was able to eat my french fries.
Yeah, Shane had a good time eating food. So, all right, I'm going to hit the music. Now it wants to do the lead up.
That's right.
Hell yeah.
It didn't want to do the lead up earlier when we were trying to start the show.
For Monday.
That's
tomorrow's Wednesday, sir.
I know, but still.
All right. But yes. So any last thoughts, anything you want to shout out to anyone listening, anything of the sorts?
Nope, just Woo Pig.
Yeah, Woo Pig. Let's Go Hall of Fame game. I don't know who's playing in it this year. It's no.
It's Jaguars and
Raiders.
Raiders.
I think it's Jaguars Raiders.
Oh, I've got a huge take on the Raiders this year.
I'll be looking.
We'll
forward
save
to
that
hearing
for next week.
Yeah,
Save it for next
because,
week. AFC's next week, right?
Yep.
Yeah, we've currently got it slated for AFC predictions next week, NFC the week following. Looking forward to that. We'll break down, give our record predictions for everything, for every team across the league throughout those 2 episodes, chat about everything there. There's a lot to talk about, especially in the AFC. The AFC is the massive conversation. There is so much to talk about there. But if you're watching live, we appreciate you. If you're watching the replay, we appreciate you. If you're listening to the audio, we appreciate you, but still question why you're not over at youtube.com/SparkE3, where you can watch us live. Since we did have a tech problem at the beginning, once again, promo code TechProbs with a Z will be for 25% off in the merch store. Pick up some merch. We appreciate that. Join the Discord, and we'll take some live callers. I think that's it. Follow us on Twitter. Check out Rogue Energy. That's on the screen as well. I think with all that said, thank you for listening to
A Terrible Football Show.
Nailed it. Let's ride. Let's ride.